Inflation and speculation is killing your retirement. Don't leave your money sitting in cash. It's time you diversified and protected your future with physical precious metals. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 and get your free digital dollar survival kit and learn how you could get up to $1,000 in free silver today. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000 to get your free digital dollar survival kit, and you may qualify for $1,000 in free silver. Advantage Gold is the #1 rated gold and silver company in America. Your future is precious. Protect it today when you call Advantage Gold. Call 800-900-8000 now.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Check with your financial advisor before investing.
That's 800-900-8000.
Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started. It's time to get things started. On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good morning. It's 6. Last week I had a moment where I woke up, thought I was late for work, began to get ready, and then realized I'm on vacation. This morning I woke up and went back to bed thinking I'm on vacation. I don't have to go back to work today. What are we talking about?
The Tuesday after Labor Day. It's all over now.
Well, it's all over. It is, but man, look at this weather. I mean, if you nice. If you have a pool or you like heat, and you're going to have a week of it anyway. And even next week, although it looks like some rain, temperatures in the 70s. But where was this all summer long?
Well, I thought we had a great summer, except for August got a little messy. No, we do.
Yeah. I guess I don't think it was a good summer at all. I think August was terrible. We were hot right up until June. Remember the grass was drying and browning. I wasn't a big fan. I'm trying to get this to work right. Okay, I got it. I wasn't a big fan of the weather this year. Davey, good morning. Do you think they have any Clorox wipes down in the storage room down there?
No, I looked.
You looked. Should have brought my own. You know, because COVID is back. Jill Biden has COVID now.
Oh, I hope Joe doesn't get it.
How does Joe Biden survive COVID if he gets it?
That's a good question.
I don't know how he'd survive it. I had a very depressing weekend.
Although if he gets it and brushes it off, isn't that a good sign for us all?
I guess it would be. Yeah. I know somebody that got it who's a young kid, who's a college student, and she got hit hard. She was really, really sick with it. So who knows what this is going to be like. Supposedly, each strain will get weaker as time goes on. Who knows? You know
how you've talked about this before, how sometimes just planting the seed in your own brain makes you feel a certain way. So what was it, over a week ago? A week ago, we went to the Mets game. So when we came home, I want to say it was Monday of last week, just kind of had that feel for like 5 minutes, but at some point during the day, kind of didn't feel 100%. And I went, oh, what is this? And then I mentioned it to somebody, and they're like, oh, well, you went to New York City. COVID cases are up. And they started going on about, oh, well, if you travel and you do this, and then if you were in New York, and I know somebody, they just went to New York, and they came back with COVID.
I heard that.
So then
too,
you start thinking, I'm
Gets
sick.
in your head. Yeah.
And then, 20 minutes later, I felt fine.
We were at the Mets game. It feels like this vacation just was a long vacation because we finally came home and just did nothing. So that drags a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
But a week ago yesterday, we were sitting at Margaritaville in New York City.
How was your evening?
That was awesome. I mean, the place, and I said to my daughter, I think he played a show in July. I think he's beginning to get back on his feet, and as soon as he goes on tour, we're gonna go see him. So this place in New York is right off Times Square, 42nd Street. It is 26, 27 floors. The rooftop bar is on the top, and you overlook the city. It's incredible. There's a pool on the floor down, and it's an outdoor. It's open year-round. Even in the wintertime, they heat the pool.
Oh, wow.
And it is just, it's like you're in the tropics right there in New York City. So there we are talking about Jimmy Buffett and what happens, but he dies over the weekend, Friday night.
Wow.
And I'm a huge fan. So it was terrible. So I'm listening to the on Sirius Margaritaville channel. I know we're not supposed to talk about other stuff, but come on, I have to talk about it here.
It's
I
ingrained
listened
media now.
all weekend. They were crying on. People were calling up crying on Saturday. It was I finally had to turn it off. It was the most depressing thing in the world. But he had a following like no. I don't know of many performers that can claim to have the following that Jimmy Buffett had.
Yeah, so I used to work with a guy who was a really big Jimmy Buffett fan, and I wasn't familiar with Jimmy Buffett before that. I was probably like 19 or 20 when I worked with this guy. But all these random songs, I always thought it was kind of a spoof. Cheeseburger in Paradise, and there were a number of songs like that.
It is kind of like all of his songs were storytelling. He was a storyteller. And I would really, and it's been for me since as long as Sirius came out, I've had this channel on, and I equate it with summertime. So the pool opens, you turn that on, you go in your backyard, and you're in your own little Margaritaville. And so I've been listening to that for years and years. I just loved Jimmy Buffett. And he passed away, cancer. Do you know that it was a rare skin cancer? And do you know that his sister also has it looks like he got contracted cancer right around COVID time. At the very same time, his sister, who he's very close with his sisters. In fact, I think they're a big part of the business operation. She had cancer, and she survived the cancer, and she is now cancer free. He did not. This was a fast acting skin cancer and a rare skin cancer.
Did she have the same thing?
No.
Oh, no.
It was, I'll bring it up. I was reading it this morning.
It's called Merkel or something like that? Merkel.
His cancer is Merkel cell carcinoma.
Isn't that the actress?
Which is a rare skin cancer. Yeah, I don't think anybody saw this coming. He had a surprise concert over the 4th. I mean, obviously the family did, but they kept it very quiet. Here's a little montage of Jimmy Buffett here. Apparently not. I'll play it in a bit, though. So she had cancer at the very same time. She has survived, and he has passed away. Very sad. I got a bunch of audio on him to get to a little later on. Steve Harwell also died. He was the former Smash Mouth singer.
Oh, I did
Hey,
hear
now
about
you're
that.
a rock star.
You know, it's funny because he was my generation. He was a rock star in my generation.
Shrek, if you watch Shrek, they were, they were the soundtrack for Shrek. 56 years old.
I think he had a severe drug addiction.
Alcohol.
Yeah. He had some kind of addiction.
He's been in hospice care due to liver failure. He struggled with alcohol abuse for many years, also had heart problems, and at one point had to leave the band because he got so drunk on stage. He was doing like Hitler salutes on stage.
Oh, my goodness.
Not something that a Smash Mouth, it wouldn't be typical of the band Smash Mouth.
You know, it's funny, and no disrespect to him, I didn't even realize that was his first name. Anytime you say Smash Mouth, his face just pops into my head. He was the face of that band. I had no idea what his name was, though.
Tim
But
Reed.
sadly, he passed away. Yeah.
Tim Reed this morning. Of course, Tim and I operate the Real Men Get Tested for Cancer, the importance of getting out there and getting tested for cancer. Tim says, cautionary cancer tale with Jimmy Buffett, over 50, white male, fair skin equals skin cancer. In fact, he was always outside. And just think about that. You have a spot, you should go to a dermatologist and get it checked out. As long as we're talking about people who have passed away, Gary Wright has also passed away.
I don't know.
You
who that
would.
was either.
You would. Gary Wright played with a lot of different artists during his career. But if you remember, he was Dreamweaver.
Oh, okay.
Big song in the 70s. And Love Is Alive and a couple of others. He was 80 years old. He passed away at the age of 80. So that's depressing, right?
It is.
All these people dying. Over the weekend, the Mets playing pretty darn well as of late. Pete Alonso hitting another milestone. 40 home runs again. Has another 40 home run season.
I think he's already up to 41 now, too.
The Yankees have won, Davey, 7 out of 10 of their last games. They're still way back in the wild card hunt.
Oh,
but
wow.
They've won 7 of 10.
Yeah,
That's
they
good.
brought up the young kids and the youth movement for this year, the rest of the year.
Manansky.
The Yankees are still 18 games behind the Baltimore Orioles in the American League East. They have not finished last in the AL East since 1990. That was actually one of our questions while you were away.
Well, listen, they're still only 6.5 games out of the wild card, something like
Is
that.
that right?
So
They're
they're in the
a
hunt.
game under 500, so they are bouncing back a little.
I mean,
8
they're
games
in the
out.
hunt.
Yankees are 8 out. Mets are 7.5 out. Can you believe that? At 11 games under 500, we're closer to a
I know.
playoff spot than the
Yeah.
Yankees.
Okay. Oh, so the Yankees are further out than that. Okay, here's another one. Over the weekend, I made 2 sports predictions, and I did not think that Syracuse would be able to cover. They were 40-point favorites.
Wow.
In the game on Saturday. What was the final score, Davey?
65-0.
They covered.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they did. The other prediction I made is that Duke would outright beat Clemson last night.
And they did.
And they didn't just beat them. In the fourth quarter, in the second half, they basically crushed them. But
You
Clemson,
couldn't watch.
I've already taken care of that. Clemson, we'll talk about that. Clemson really blew. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. They gave that game away. They were driving down inside, at least inside the 20-yard line, 2 different times in the second half, and fumbled it twice. And then on their next drive, threw an interception. So it was the mistakes of Clemson, and Duke walks away a big winner. They win outright. Okay, let's talk about the ESPN problem. Here's the problem you're going to hear from Stefan. I heard from him all during vacation about this. The Monday night game, Bills and Jets, is on ESPN.
Yeah.
ESPN is in a battle with Spectrum, and ESPN is not on Spectrum, and it will cost you as well. If you try to buy, like they have ESPN Plus, if you're a Spectrum subscriber, they connect you, and they'll black out almost everything. You won't get to see it. So I subscribe to YouTube TV. I have a free trial subscription going right now.
So, wait.
I watched the game last night on ESPN.
But you can do business directly with ESPN, right? Are you saying you can't?
No. If you're a Spectrum customer and that's your only means of getting television, you'll still get blocked out. I mean, I have ESPN Plus, and I wasn't able to watch the game last night.
That's ridiculous.
It is, yeah, because you're listed as a Spectrum customer. Now, if you subscribe to Fubo or whatever that is, Fubo,
FUBO, Fubo?
if you subscribe to DirecTV through AT&T or any of those, if you subscribe to YouTube TV, not just YouTube, but YouTube TV, you'll get ESPN.
Wow, that's
But YouTube TV is in a battle with Yes, and the Yankees are not on YouTube TV.
so. My question was, do you think this was brought on by Spectrum or ESPN? It's just with the college football and pro football about to kick off.
It depends on which organization is telling the story. If you're Spectrum, you're saying that the Disney people are preventing you from seeing ESPN, and it says just that on their on the screen when you go to ESPN. But if you're from Disney, you're saying that that Spectrum's not willing to pay.
Yeah, but
so I don't know who's in the right here, but ultimately it's one of the many battles going on in TV right now.
But they've dropped Disney, Freeform, and other stuff from our
Correct.
Spectrum too.
Right, but not ABC.
Yeah, but the Bills game is going to be on ABC next
Oh,
Monday
that'll
night.
be ABC, not ESPN.
They're going to do simulcast ABC and ESPN.
Okay, for Monday Night Football. Well, I would
Yes.
expect they should do that, right? Anyway, there are options out there. I don't know how long this battle is going to go on, but Nexstar, I think, has a battle with one of the other networks,
DirecTV.
DirecTV.
Oh, Smitty's all over it.
Yeah, so these battles are all going on, all while this strike is happening, the writers' strike, and God forbid you're not even Jeopardy. They're using recycled questions from previous seasons on Jeopardy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, yep. That's how they're getting away with it. What else do I have? Chris Christie is actually gaining support in the race for president.
I thought you were going to say wait.
From a very unlikely place. Do you know where he's gaining his support?
Chris Christie is gaining support from.
I'll make it easy. Democrats. The latest polling shows that Chris Christie is gaining support from an unlikely source, from Democrats. Well, he's still only at about 3% when it comes to, maybe it's at 5% now, in the lineup of candidates on the Republican side. He's scoring big numbers on the Democratic side. Democrats looking at an alternative to Joe Biden.
Yeah. So, well, that's interesting. That is very interesting.
We mentioned First Lady Jill Biden testing positive for COVID-19. We'll see what all of that means. Today is National Telephone Tuesday. I don't know what that means, but I could think of many things that we could do on the radio with Telephone Tuesday.
Yeah.
In fact, you could call us at 315-736-0186. Marjorie Taylor Greene says the government, she will see to it that the government is shut down if McCarthy doesn't move forward on an impeachment inquiry. That is her demand, and if it doesn't happen, she is going to see to it that the government shuts down.
Okay.
We'll talk to Ryan Schmelz on that coming up in a few minutes.
You mentioned Joe Biden. So did you see Mitch McConnell last week?
I did.
And then you have Dianne Feinstein, and again we mentioned Joe Biden.
The two of them though are making Biden look like he's ready to run a marathon.
Yeah.
And this Mitch McConnell thing, he's fallen a couple times, and he's dealing with a concussion. Of all people coming out to defend him, it was Joe Biden defending him, saying this is what happens when you hit your head and you have a concussion. But it was a good 25 seconds that he just stood there.
Yeah, it was like
and they were trying. His aide was trying to talk to him, and nothing.
Like a circuit shorted out or something. So
Second time that's happened.
Yeah.
In at least the last month, anyway.
These are the people who make big decisions. I don't know. It's just kind of scary.
I feel like he's somebody that is, there are a lot of Republicans who don't like Mitch McConnell. But the fact is he's really crafted everything that Donald Trump accomplished, especially with the courts, was really crafted by Mitch McConnell 20 years ago. So the guy has done wonders for the conservative movement, but he is definitely in a very difficult place right now, it seems. Although they're saying he is perfectly fit. Everything's good.
Not personally knocking him. I mean, we all get to a point, right? Age catches up to you at some point. I just didn't. He's had the incident last week, and then there was one several weeks ago where he just stared.
Same type of thing. Yeah.
So this didn't just happen then, though. I feel like this has been going on for probably a couple years, where he's been very, very.
Well, he
On a
looks
cognitive
frail. He
decline.
looks frail, but the blanking out thing seems to be a result of the latest falls, because that's not something that had happened prior to the last two times. Listen, I was starting to do the math on my own as we're coming in here and kicking off. Really, you kick off a fall season, even in radio. It's September. It's kind of a new, everybody goes back to school. Summer isn't over yet, but it is, right? The unofficial summer for us up here is basically over. And I was thinking that this is my 41st September on radio.
Wow.
In between firings. There have been a few. Some I really regret. Some not so much. But 41 years. I started when I was junior in high school in 1981. Wow. So I started morning radio in 1989. So in just a few years, holy crap, this is scary. And I'll be Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden in another 30 years.
Well, we need you to talk, though. You can't just stare.
That is
It
important.
doesn't go over well on radio.
Gary Busey continues to entertain. Here's a good one. Gary Busey was out in, I believe this was in Hollywood, chased down by a woman after a hit and run. He was in Malibu, and he came out of a parking lot and slammed into a woman's car, she claims. In fact, she didn't get the actual accident, but she then chased him down while running video. Shows the mark on her car, shows the mark on his car. She finally got up and pulled beside him and started yelling at him and said, "Don't you see what you hit me? You're supposed to stop and we share insurance information." His response was, "I'm private." And then he drove off. He's private.
So are the cops looking for him now?
I believe it'll end up being, it's hit and run, so that would be a ticketable offense.
Wow.
He did yell to her two things: "I'm private" and "progressive." So
Is that what he said?
yes, Progressive is his insurance company.
Okay.
So no numbers or anything like that. She's just gonna have to. You know who I am. I'm Gary Busey.
Just Google Progressive and tell them I hit you. They'll take care of it.
Law enforcement told TMZ the woman filed a hit-and-run report, and detectives are investigating. Leaving the scene of a car accident that results in property damage or injury is considered a crime. TMZ reached out to Gary Busey, and he said, "I'm private." Progressive. Yeah. Mike this morning says, since Jill Biden is a doctor, can she write a prescription for herself for one of those therapeutic drugs? I believe she's a doctor of education. Right?
Yes, she's not a medical
Okay.
doctor. You know, just on Gary Busey, one more thing. We talked about the freezing, Mitch McConnell freezing, as I just did, because of the concussion. Isn't Gary Busey's story that he had a serious accident and he's kind of...
He has brain damage.
Yeah.
Don't
from
you
an
remember
automobile accident?
he was on two shows that were really interesting. There was one that was on it might have been Fox, where they all lived in one house, all the celebrities. I think Tammy Faye Baker was a part of it. You had
Smitty, what was that called?
what was the name of that show? And you saw that he had some issues going.
Celebrity Rehab? No.
And then it was not Rehab. And then he was also on The Apprentice.
Yep, I remember him on that.
Yeah, he was on that.
I'm with Busey was a show.
I think that probably was a spinoff from the craziness that came out of that show where all the celebrities lived together.
And it says he was also on Celebrity Apprentice, among other things. I believe he was also on Celebrity Big Brother.
That wasn't the show I'm looking for. By the way, it was on this date 25 years ago that my wife made a huge mistake and married me. We're celebrating our 25th
Oh, congratulations.
wedding anniversary today.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Congratulations for you and condolences for her.
To her, yeah.
The biggest congratulations goes to Allie, though.
You're right.
Not you.
You're right. Or condolences, as Jeff says. We mentioned Duke upsetting number 9 Clemson last night, 28-7. They held the Tigers scoreless in the second half. Here is Duke's final touchdown and the final call of the game.
Waters making a house call with the exclamation point on this one. 36-yard touchdown. It has turned into a blowout in Durham here in the fourth. It's one of the biggest wins generations in Duke football history. Down goes Clemson. The Devils win.
Yeah, apparently what I did to fix the audio didn't work. Well, it's a typical day back from vacation. All right, I got a break. Coming up, we'll talk with Ryan Schmelz on a possible government shutdown and the comments from, what's her name, saying that without a Biden impeachment inquiry, she will make sure that a shutdown happens. We're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Coming up, we'll get to it all. It's 6:44, Tuesday morning, back from vacation on WIBX.
Looking to do something fun for the whole family? Stop in at the 12th Annual St. George Mediterranean Festival, September 9th and 10th. There will be a delicious array of Mediterranean food, dessert, and drinks. An assortment of vendors, crafts, live music, dancing, and more. The 12th Annual St. George Mediterranean Festival, September 9th and 10th at the St. George Orthodox Church at 350 Higbee Road in New Hartford. A portion of the proceeds will go to support the earthquake victims in the Middle East.
Summer is here, and that's something to smile about. Shulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry will give you a smile that will last long after summer.
I'm Dr. Andrew Rosansky, letting you know that summer will come and go, but a great smile never goes out of season. Crowns, veneers, or cleaning will make a big difference. Give us a call today.
Get the smile that gets smiles at Shulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry, 1 Paris Road, New Hartford, and online at uticasmiles.com.
Adirondack Home Furniture is the area's go-to store for top-quality, durable, American-made pieces for any room. And all month long, Adirondack Home Furniture is having a summer sale event on select floor pieces. Stop in and check out their hot summer buys all month long through Labor Day weekend. Lowest prices of the season on all Flex Steel and Smith Brothers upholstery. Are you looking for a better night's sleep? Then check out their selection of Restonic mattresses or their private label fillable mattress line. Once you select the perfect piece for your space, they can deliver it locally free of charge, or you can pick it up from their showroom. So stop into Adirondack Home Furniture today for their summer sales event and save big on select floor pieces and take what you love home today. Adirondack Home Furniture in Riverside Center, Utica. Give them a call at 315-738-7817 or visit AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
A couple of comments here. Some guy in the 540. Every game is on YouTube streaming live. That's really not the case. You can get you have to pay for the NFL package, right? Which is like $400, and that's streamed on YouTube and YouTube TV. But I think you got to pay for it. It's not free, right?
I don't think so.
No,
I'm checking now. But...
Yeah, it's not free. And then he also says, didn't they say the average age in the U.S. Senate is 65? Yeah, it might be. But that's not the high ends are. I mean, there are a lot of old guys and women in the U.S. Senate. Half of Congress gets back in action this week with a possible government shutdown. We mentioned the comments from Marjorie Taylor Greene on the line right now. Ryan Schmelz with Fox News. Here we go again, Ryan. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
Good. It's like this is deja vu. We're talking about a government shutdown.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it doesn't look like age limits for members of Congress is going to be on the agenda at least for the month of September. Because
I think you're right.
Yes, it's going to be an absolute sprint to get the government funded before the September 30th deadline, and there's still a long ways to go before these members are able to get something that could pass.
Interestingly, McCarthy's threat to people like Marjorie Taylor Greene is, if we shut the government down, the government won't be funded to go into an impeachment inquiry.
That's correct. It won't go into an impeachment inquiry, and they also might run into some issues with getting some disaster relief funding or ultimately FEMA relief funding to help issues like Georgia. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene represents that state, and Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, they're going to be going through an awful lot in terms of trying to get disaster relief money to help the people that have been impacted by a recent hurricane.
Yeah. All right. This is, as the American public, I feel like they're already upset with Congress because nothing gets done. I get it. We like our own congressperson traditionally, but for the most part, I mean, we go into another government shutdown. It is a real problem for average citizens, and it could very well be a big problem for a rather unstable economy.
It certainly is, and especially when you look at the fact that you do have to keep in mind, though, the government, this is something that has happened multiple times before, and usually Congress is able to get something passed at the very midnight hour, right? We've seen it multiple times, and now McCarthy is floating the idea of a continuing resolution to fund the government for maybe an additional month or so, maybe more. We don't really know what the specifics would look like, but he is flirting with that idea right now. That'll probably not hit well with certain, fiscal conservatives, but ultimately when we've got our backs against the wall the way we do right now, and the House still has 11 appropriations bills they still need to pass, and then those appropriations bills are likely going to look so different than what the ones the Senate has been passing. So it looks like just both sides are so far apart right now that a CR might be the best option for McCarthy.
Yeah. And at what point are we able to get together and put a deal on the table that actually is a deal that is at least somewhat short term and not short term, something a little longer, something a little more stable?
Well, I think it depends on what they're able to get done in this short session. If the House is, in fact, able to get their appropriations bills passed in a very quick amount of time when they come back next week, and then they're somehow able to come to some type of agreement with the Senate, they could be passing this for a significant amount of time, and that could go into next year. But it just looks like that's still a very unlikely possibility just because of how much little time they have to work with. And the fact that you're hearing leadership talk about a continuing resolution, which would fund the government for a very short amount of time, then you'd likely see if they pass that and then we move this back to October or maybe even early November, then you'd probably see more talks about a more serious funding bill that would last a longer amount of time.
So I believe what Mitch McConnell was actually talking about the day that he had the mental freeze, the blank expression, which was very scary. I believe he was coming out to say the Senate was putting a deal together to fund the government, and that even if the House wasn't moving forward, the Senate would move forward, and that got overshadowed, of course, by his moment of silence there.
Yeah, and that's certainly something that happened last year, right before they passed the omnibus that funded the government through September. But you got to keep in mind when that happened, Democrats still controlled the House, and this actually angered a lot of Republicans when Leader McConnell did that, because you had House Republicans making the argument, hey, look, we're about to take control of the House. Like, we were the ones hired to make these decisions, but yet you're allowing Nancy Pelosi and Democrat leadership, who were actually on their way out the door as leaders at the time too, to make the decision on funding the government long term. And that angered a lot of Republicans, and ultimately that's why you saw Leader McConnell get a challenge when they had their leadership elections last session or going into this session. Whether or not this one would be as politically, divisive because you do have Republicans controlling the House this time, might be a little bit different. We'll have to see, though.
All right, interesting stuff, Ryan. Thank you for the time. Have a wonderful day. We appreciate it.
Hey, have a good one, guys. Thank you, and it's great to have football back.
It is certainly great, and I I'm not a big Duke fan, but I was last night. So
that was insane.
It was insane. Wow. Okay, thank you, man. We appreciate it.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Ryan Schmelz from Fox News Radio. I don't know if you followed any of this Burning Man Festival. Hundreds of vehicles are able now to finally leave the Burning Man Festival grounds after heavy rains trapped tens of thousands of people in the makeshift city and surrounded them with mud so thick people couldn't drive in it. Did you see any of this, Davey?
Yeah. Can I just ask a real quick question? Is that like a music festival? Because they said Chris Rock was there and a couple other people, but Chris Rock was able to get out.
Cindy Crawford was there.
Is it like an all-day
It's kind of like an influencers convention of some sort out in the middle of
the nowhere.
And I've been confused by this as well as to what it is. Do you know what it is?
No. An influencers convention, you call it.
It's like, well, you wouldn't call it a convention. It's a festival because it's out in the middle of the desert. But then they got so much rain that it created mud, and to the point where they just could not, the cars couldn't get out of there. Late Sunday evening, event organizers said there were 72,000 people on site. By midday Monday, roughly 64,000 people remained. Can you look up, just Google, what is the Burning Man Festival?
Okay, so
So what I've gotten is it's a huge totem set on fire at the festival's culmination. Was actually scheduled for Sunday night, but it was moved to Monday because of the poor weather. And the only thing I've gotten is that it's an influencers event festival where I guess people, instead of seeing music, you see people talking. I don't know.
So I always thought it was music related, but so according to Wikipedia, Burning Man is an ongoing experimental festival in the Black Rock Desert in Pershing County, Nevada. The 35th Burning Man event took place August 27th to September 4th.
Yeah, it's not like it's brand new. This has been going on for quite a while.
Torrential weather severely affected the festival near its conclusion, leaving attendees stranded as some began to exit. One fatality was reported. Now, I thought, because I recently had videos popping up online about Burning Man. Were they blocking the roads that they wouldn't let people in?
They wouldn't let people out, and they wouldn't certainly let people in because of the heavy rains. Here's Diplo.
There were climate protesters. The videos I saw were climate protesters blocking the roads.
Here is Diplo. I'm just reading what I have here. Talking about how he, Chris Rock, Austin Butler, Cindy Crawford, and more were able to find a way out of Burning Man. Here we
walked about 3 hours in the mud, and it was me. I think Cindy Crawford walked with us, Kaya Gerber, Austin Butler, Randy Gerber. A couple people that just wanted to get home to their children and just taking over an answer. We were just like, look, we can make it out. There's no one stopping us from walking. And, it was a challenge, but it was honestly one of the highlights of the whole trip was just getting out there and enjoying the time out there and, seeing the desert and walking through the mud and meeting fans. And some kid recognized me on the road and said, hey, I'll give you a ride for the next 2 miles. And we gladly took it.
Experimental, I think, is the key word in this whole festival. We mentioned Telephone Tuesday, which is always the day after Labor Day, known for more phone calls than usual. The day after Labor Day, known for more phone calls than usual. Is it a time where people are like, I'm getting business done? There's a transition now. I'm moving to the new
that could be
fall season. But for some reason, there are more phone calls than usual on the Tuesday following Labor Day.
I do think it could be a symptom of people winding down summer or in the middle of summer, and they
transitioning.
Say, we'll worry about this after Labor Day.
There is a clear spike in telephone calls to businesses and organizations. The high number of calls usually flood in partly due to unmanned telephones during the long Labor Day weekend. Many schools also open after Labor Day weekend. Research shows that organized people attempt to tackle their to-do lists on this day. Mm-hmm. And so inbound calls rise up to about a 50% increase, which makes today Telephone Tuesday.
Well, I'll give you another example. I mean, maybe this sounds old-fashioned, but like, for instance, we got paid. I don't know when we got paid, and then Monday was the holiday, so I got to pay all my bills today, the ones that I call on. So I'll be calling several places to pay bills today just because when we got paid and the way the holiday felt, the holiday weekend.
Right, so you're going to be very busy today.
Yeah, just like I think I'm in the Telephone Tuesday group.
But a 4-day weekend, 4-day holiday weekend is not rare, but happening on the change of a season, I think, is where, this is the unofficial end of summer. An alleged drunk driver called. I got a couple more that I want to try to squeeze in before 7 o'clock. An alleged drunk driver called the police to report that someone was driving on the wrong side of the road coming towards him on a highway in Nebraska. Turns out it was him going the wrong way, and he called 911 on himself. He thought the people going the wrong way were going the wrong way, but in fact, it was him. You understand? He was going the wrong way.
Do we have audio?
Here is the actual 911 call and the driver's interaction with an officer when they finally pulled him over.
I'm on Highway 77 going north, and there's somebody that is on the wrong side of the road. He had his brights on, man. He almost ran me off the road.
Yeah, do you know why I stopped you?
Yeah, because I was on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
Were you the one that called in?
Yep.
You were?
Yeah, because I thought somebody was on the wrong side of the road, bro.
But it turned out it was you.
Yep.
That is so unbelievable.
And he was drunk?
He was drunk. Yeah.
Somebody, we just had a story last week. I forget what highway, state road it was on, but there was somebody went on the wrong ramp and they crashed head on to somebody. It was a fatal accident, wrong way on a state highway.
It can be terrible, right? You're going the wrong way. If you don't see the person, especially, it almost seems like you have a better shot at night because of headlights, but in the daytime, sometimes people aren't seen, and it can result in some really, really bad accidents. By the way, almost 1 million people visited the New York State Fair. They ended up tallying over 900,000 people. It's the largest number since COVID. So it doesn't break the record, but it's up there. It's certainly better than what it has been, over 900,000 people. News is straight ahead. We go into the 7 o'clock hour for your Tuesday morning. Coming up.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
A slow slog out of the desert. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. A lot of muddy people are making their way home after a couple of extra days stuck at the annual Burning Man event in Nevada on roads now open and dry enough to use.
Monsoon rains on Friday and through the weekend led to flash flooding, closing roads around Burning Man. And the Pershing County Sheriff's Office confirmed that they're investigating one death that was reported during the rain event. Officials haven't provided many details about the death, but said the victim's family has been notified. Organizers say that mobile cell trailers have been placed around the event to boost cell signal. Sanitation trucks are now running to ensure portable toilets are clean and that the contracted firefighters and EMS workers will now remain on site for 2 extra days.
Fox Weather's Max Gordon. There's intelligence that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un plans to travel to Russia this month to discuss supplying weapons for Russia's war with Ukraine.
These potential talks come not long after the Russian foreign minister attempted to get North Korea to sell artillery to Russia. U.S. officials are urging Kim's government to stand by a pledge to not give Russia ammunition to sustain its war.
Fox's Gernal Scott. First Lady Joe Biden said to be experiencing mild COVID-19 symptoms, testing positive at the end of the 3-day weekend.
She did not return to the White House from Delaware with President Biden, who was tested negative and will continue to be tested. Monday afternoon, the president spoke to union sheet metal workers in Philadelphia at a Labor Day event where he courted union support and said his economic policies are working, citing lower inflation rates and job growth. The president is scheduled to leave for the G20 summit in India on Thursday. Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
And today, President Biden scheduled to award the Medal of Honor to Vietnam veteran Captain Larry L. Taylor from Tennessee. August recess is over for the Senate. Congress has until the end of the month to work out a deal to avoid a partial government shutdown. America's listening to Fox News.
David in Pennsylvania writes in to tell us about his experience with Relief Factor. I tried Relief Factor for hip pain and was surprised that it also helped relieve my shoulder and foot discomfort. After taking it for a month, I stopped, and sure enough, the pain returned. So I started taking Relief Factor again, and within a week, the pain was relieved. I'm now taking Relief Factor daily. Well, thank you, David. You know, I've heard your story before, people stopping and then starting again because it works. As you all know, I had trouble with aches and pains, and climbing steps was brutal. Your first step to living the life you love, free from aches and pains, could just be to order the 3-week Quick Start for the highly discounted price of $19.95. After trying Relief Factor, over 500,000 people have gone on to order more. Try it for yourself and see what all these people are talking about. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. That's 800-4RELIEF. Live your best life and feel the difference with Relief Factor.
We have mostly cloudy skies, 65 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. For all of your mobile home needs, it's worth the trip. Visit johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more information. Well, new state gun laws go into effect this week. According to the new law, anyone with a concealed carry permit that was issued prior to September 1st of 2020 is supposed to recertify their weapon. Per the new legislation, gun owners need to recertify their weapons every 3 years as part of a crackdown on gun violence statewide. Local sheriff's offices and police departments say the new law has been causing confusion among legal gun owners. Much of central New York under a heat advisory today. The National Weather Service says the heat index could reach 95 degrees between noon and 7 today. The highest heat index values are expected in urban valleys. The heat and humidity could make heat-related illnesses more likely to happen today as well. School districts in Syracuse and Utica both still trying to fill some openings for teachers. It was reported late last week the Utica City School District was looking to hire 10 to 15 more positions, and the city of Syracuse is reporting around 50 more educators are needed before the school year starts. This comes despite numerous hiring events held throughout the summer. More information at each of the school districts' websites. Unforeseen circumstances blamed for a concert cancellation on the last day of the New York State Fair. Hairball was expected to perform yesterday at Suburban Park. They had to cancel, though. 3 other concerts still happened as part of the Chevy Music Series. High Kings, Foghat, and Skid Row were among those who did perform yesterday. And the New York State Fair has now concluded. Of course, it runs through Labor Day. And local gas prices unchanged over the past week. According to AAA, the average cost for a gallon of regular fuel in the Utica Rome market is $3.94 this week. Again, unchanged from this week. A month ago, we were paying just a penny less at $3.93. Bill, a year ago, the average price was $4.22. Statewide, we're paying an average of $3.89. A hot one today with a heat advisory in effect. Here's what we can expect this afternoon from Eyewitness News.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, plenty of sunshine, hot and humid. The heat index will be in the mid-90s in the afternoon. Heat advisory till 7 o'clock, a high near 90. Tonight, mainly clear, muggy, mild, near 65. Tomorrow, more sunshine as the heat and humidity remain near 90. For more of your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
All right, in sports, the Mets were off on Labor Day. They open up a brief 2-game series against the Washington Nationals in D.C. tonight. Jose Quintana, the scheduled starter. The Yankees hope to extend their winning streak to 4 games. After sweeping the Astros over the weekend, the Bombers open a 3-game series against the Tigers tonight at Yankee Stadium. Garrett Cole scheduled to get the start. NFL season kicks off this week, Thursday night. It's the Kansas City Chiefs and Detroit Lions. We'll have full coverage of the game for you right here on WIBX. Team USA looking to move a step closer to the FIBA World Cup. They're coming off their first loss, though. It was to Italy. 110-104 was the final. The Americans coming off a loss, rather, to Lithuania. Up next, they will play Italy. Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson each totaled 14 points in the losing effort. Shohei Ohtani will need some type of procedure on his right elbow. Ohtani's agent said on Monday that the LA Angels' two-way superstar is still exploring treatment possibilities for a tear in his UCL. One of the procedures could be Tommy John. Ohtani won't pitch again this season for the Angels, but continues to hit after the injury. At 29, he's now batting .304, 44 home runs, and 95 RBIs this season. And Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher Julio Urias was arrested on felony domestic violence charges. Los Angeles police say the 27-year-old left-hander was booked Sunday night and released on a $50,000 bond. Urias was also arrested in May of 2019 on suspicion of domestic violence. The team says they're aware of the incident and that Urias is not with the team for their current 6-game road trip.
So where are you as we, this is opening of a football season, right?
Yeah.
Is there football this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay, but and the Bills. So there's a Thursday night game this week.
Thursday.
Okay.
Full slate of Sunday.
And the Bills play Monday night.
Bills play Monday. Giants play Sunday.
Have you bought into the Jets hype?
I don't buy into Jets hype. It's funny. I just heard somebody. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, they're so good." They all of a sudden.
It's unbelievable. Like Sporting News is calling for them to go all the way.
Well, I think somebody's high over at Sporting News.
Listen to this. The NFL regular season, as you said, kicks off on Thursday night this week. They're saying, here's how they say things will pan out according to Vinny Liar of Sporting News.
Oh, I could trust the Vinny Liar.
Notice his name is Liar.
Yeah. Trust him.
Lyer. Anyway, AFC East, the Jets will win. They'll go 13-4. AFC North, Cincinnati. In the South, Jacksonville. In the West, Kansas City. NFC East, the Eagles. The North, the Detroit Lions. In the South, the Panthers. And the San Francisco 49ers in the West. In the AFC, wildcard playoff spots will go to Baltimore, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh. The divisional round will see the Chiefs beat the Bengals, and the Jets beat Jacksonville. The Jets will then beat the Chiefs and go to the Super Bowl. In the NFC, wild card spots go to Dallas, Green Bay, and Seattle. The divisional round will see the Eagles beat the Cowboys, 49ers beat the Lions. The 49ers will then beat the Eagles for a spot in the Super Bowl. The Jets will then take down the Niners to become Super Bowl champions.
Well, it'd be a great story, and it'd be an incredible turnaround, but I don't see that happening.
I think it could be just the opposite. I'm obviously I'm a Bills fan, and I don't like the Jets. But I don't think that it is crazy to say that this is all hype. Aaron Rodgers is not going to live up to any of this. He's still going to be the same old Aaron Rodgers you saw in the last couple of years. And despite that Jets defense, it is not going to be the big turnaround that everybody's expecting.
Yeah, the Jets do have a solid defense. They were fourth last year in points allowed and maybe total points and something else, maybe overall defense. But anyway, they have a good defense. Certainly, they've upgraded significantly, I think, at quarterback over who was that kid they had before? Zach, the young kid.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah. I don't think he was leading a team
let's
successful.
See. Well, you know what?
They've brought in some players. They also brought in Dalvin Cook to the backfield, and I think that could be big. But I don't know the first thing is happening.
We are going to see the one solid indicator. On Tuesday morning, a week from today, we'll be talking about what happened the night before, right? And that certainly will serve as an indicator of what's to come. I would think how good the Jets really are.
Jets 7-10 last year. I don't see it.
Okay, and also CSB. That's the Canada Sports Betting Group.
Okay.
They ranked the most loyal fan bases in America. Who do you think are the most loyal fan bases? They listed the top 5. I can't believe that Dallas is not in here. Most loyal fan bases. Number 1, the Cincinnati Bengals, followed by the Eagles.
Okay.
Followed by the 49ers, followed by the Bills, followed by number 5, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville?
Jacksonville.
Okay,
I find that hard to believe, but anyway. Apparently, the Bengals saw an average rise of 80% in volume year after year, greater than any other NFL team. They're basing this on betting that occurs. But wouldn't this be the loyalty the Canadians have for American football teams?
It would seem that way.
It would seem that way. So,
yeah.
A couple of interesting little items. All right, coming up, we'll talk to Dr. Kent Hall. Much to get to. The Mrs. Biden, Jill Biden, has tested positive for COVID. I know of 3 other people that are currently dealing with COVID right now. Are we in the middle of a bit of an uprise? And, all of this before school even gets back in session. We'll do Hubika's free money question of the day this morning. Sheriff Rob Mashel is on. Drivers will be fined for illegally passing school buses. It's back to school week.
Yes, and
we'll speak with the sheriff.
They have the cameras. We'll fill you in on all the information you need to know and share with you some very likely alarming statistics. You will not believe how common this is, that people pass the school bus. Also, if you know what the heck Burning Man is and you want to try to explain it to either one of us, 315-736-0186.
It's been going on for 35 years, and you and I are still sitting here saying, what is this thing? Because you're automatically thinking it's a music festival, and it is not. Also,
Big Honey wants to have a couple gummies and call and try to explain it. We're all for it.
That would be perfect. That would explain the whole thing. But you got to do it with the gummies, right? Does Ozempic cause depression? That's the pre-diabetes drug that so many people are on right now in order to lose weight. Does it cause depression? And there was a stabbing in Utica last evening, in South Utica. We'll try to get details from Utica Police on that coming up as well in the 8 o'clock hour. Stand by. It's 7:13. at WIBX.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Former CIA officer and survival expert Jason Hansen here. I teach people how to prepare for the unexpected. Right now, most Americans are not ready for the death of the US dollar. You have money sitting in cash, and if you don't act soon, your financial future could be at risk. I have partnered with Advantage Gold, the #1 rated precious metals company in America, to release my new digital dollar survival kit that's 100% free for everyone who calls today and claims your free survival kit. Simply call 800-900-8000 and give your email address, and I will have this new digital dollar survival kit sent to you immediately. Call 1-800-900-8000 now and claim your free kit, and also mention my name, Jason Hansen, and see how you could also qualify for $1,000 in free silver. Supplies are limited, so call right now before it's too late. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Check with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800-900-8000.
Hey, Jen. OMG, look how busy it is in here. How'd you get all these customers?
Yeah, this month has been a record breaker for us. For a long time, we had decent business coming in from word of mouth, but we weren't growing. Lately, though, a lot of new folks have been finding us online, and that's made all the difference.
That's terrific. I wish I could figure out how to do that for my shop, but I have no idea where to start.
Just do what I did. It's not as hard as you'd think. Go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there are for businesses like yours.
Okay, then what?
If you see that there are a good number of clients searching in our area, you'll also get some suggestions for the best way to get their attention.
Do you think there are a lot of people searching for my business?
There's only one way to find out. Go to mylocalcustomers.com. It's quick, easy, and free.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Heritage Logging and Tree Removal is your trusted tree removal specialist. With today's extreme weather conditions and new invasive species wreaking havoc on your trees, you need to protect your valuable property and your precious loved ones. As soon as you suspect any problem, call and Heritage Logging will be there to assess your trees and give 24-hour emergency services. For all your tree care needs, call or text 315-796-2941 or go online to heritagelogging.com and Facebook at Heritage Logging.
Hey, if you have severe pain, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, you're living with pain. The pain that won't go away. You've taken medicine, you've done therapy, nothing seems to work. You're just living with pain. There is help, and I've seen it firsthand with Dr. Hyder and the Omni Surgical Center in Utica. You don't have to live with the pain. Call today, and Dr. Hyder is amazing at coming up with a strategy to eliminate the pain, a strategy to make the pain go away. You don't have to live with pain. Their website says it all, killpain.com. They're located in the business park, and the surgery center is on French Road. And you know that people travel from all over the country, and as well as Canada, to come here to have their procedure done with Dr. Hyder at the Omni Surgery Center. Call them today. You do not have to live with the pain. Call 315-765-8448. It's the Omni Surgery Center with Dr. Hyder, where modern technology meets cutting-edge surgery.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, here we are. I seem to recall, I don't know, it was maybe Memorial Day, right after Memorial Day, saying, Before you know it, we'll be talking about the state fair, and we'll be talking about how the summer has come to an end. Back to school, Halloween displays. It's all back now.
Yeah.
You know, I was driving by somebody's house the other day. They already have their entire Halloween display up in their front yard.
Yes.
Is there a lot of that out there now?
Well, I don't know about a lot, but there's a very popular one in Whitesboro that's already up or partially up.
That's what I was talking about. Did you see that one, Jeff, there?
Yeah, I drive by it all the time. Yeah.
Somebody bought the giant monster at Lowe's.
Yeah.
I don't know if they only had one, but the thing is huge, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I've seen at least one. I've seen it in New Hartford.
It's funny. I don't know if you were telling me or somebody else, but this was a
Wasn't
discussion I recently had with somebody. They said you got to see the giant display they have at, would you say Lowe's?
It was at Lowe's.
At
yeah.
Lowe's, yeah. And
the
they
thing
said
had
these
to
are going to be
like-
all over the neighborhood.
Had to
now.
be like 20 feet tall.
Yeah, somebody was
Yeah.
just telling me about this, that they're like, you can't miss it.
It's sitting in New Hartford. If we get a good thunderstorm this week, you're going to see it in Whitesboro, I believe. My guess. You know, also, they're coming out with... So there's a new Exorcist movie coming out. Apparently, if you've seen the trailer, it looks like it's really going to be good.
Okay.
But apparently, the makers of The Exorcist are not that confident. They were scheduled to open in theaters on Friday the 13th in October. Friday, October 13th. And they have now pushed it back by 1 week. Do you know why? They pushed it back by a week because it would be opening on the same day as the Taylor Swift Eras Tour.
Okay.
So Taylor Swift is taking her tour, and there's going to be one night or 1 week, or I guess it's a movie, so it'll just keep playing and playing, where you can go to the theater and watch it. And they're expecting an enormous turnout for this thing. All the people that can't get tickets to see it. It's hard to get tickets to see a Taylor Swift concert. This girl is unbelievable.
And when those who do get tickets pay a very, very pretty penny.
I've heard stories of people spending $3,000-$4,000 on tickets.
Yeah, yeah.
And having to travel quite a distance to be able to get to see the show. Anyway, that will open on October 13th, and The Exorcist is pushing their movie back by a week.
Okay.
So there you have that. Davey, who do we have?
Dr. Hall.
Dr. Kent Hall.
Before we move on, just if I can share these, and you can continue to send your comments. We asked about Burning Man. I asked Big Honey specifically. He says, it seems to be a gathering of people blessed with useless skills that they get to showcase once a year in the middle of nowhere.
It's almost like a TED Talk kind of thing, but in terms of it's a festival that happens in the middle of nowhere. Like it's like Woodstock meets TED Talk.
Okay,
That's
an
how I
interesting
would
way to describe it.
Yeah.
And then somebody here commenting.
And the reason I'm having a hard time understanding is I'm thinking, who in the hell would go to see that? Apparently, a lot of people.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in the middle of nowhere. I just can't believe they don't play music. Maybe they make their own. And also, we got a tip here this morning, and Bill, you and I talked about this off the air. Utica police investigating a stabbing that occurred overnight. I believe it was on Holland Ave.
Residential section.
This
yeah.
person saying a normally quiet neighborhood
Mhm.
and believes it was a domestic dispute stabbing.
Okay. I saw pictures of it last night. There were police all over the place. So, why is it that? It must be when I turned it down. It must be the feed that I'm looking at. That's wild, Davey. When we turn down the lights in here, everything goes red on the on YouTube.
Oh, it's a little glow.
It's the glow from the amazing, just neon light. The beautiful clock that we have in here.
Also, the lights that are in the board that we can actually see, I believe, are tinted red.
I now have to turn down. There's two things I have to do. Apparently, it's my age. I said I've been doing this for a long time.
It's me too.
Well, you tell me if you have to do this. Number one, I can't read the board to see which buttons are clicked. For some reason, the buttons are dimmed. So if we turn the lights off in the studio, we can quickly glance and see what buttons are on so that everybody's hearing everything they're supposed to hear. That's number one. Number two, most restaurants today, I have to pull out my flashlight in order to read the menu.
Oh, yeah. I don't have that problem.
Maybe that's just me. On the line right now is Dr. Kent Hall from MVHS. Doc, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good, and I have to say the low level lighting problem, and maybe you can explain this, is not an age thing for me. I've had this issue since about 1999 when I had laser eye surgery done. Since having laser eye surgery, if it's low level light, I really struggle seeing it.
So I wonder, is it because the things aren't as clear? Do things appear fuzzy to you?
No, I just can't see it. It's too dark.
That's interesting. It could be related to it, and maybe you've got a little bit of thickening of your cornea from the LASIK surgery, which may be causing issues with light getting through.
I will say
that you'd only see it at low levels. That's a theoretical possibility. I'm not going to say that that's the answer. But
and maybe this is anecdotal as well, but I really believe this started back right after I had the surgery. The other thing is, do you know that I had laser eye surgery in 1999 with Dove Laser? We're one of the first group of people to go in and get it done. And up until that point, I'd worn glasses since elementary school and contacts. I still do not wear glasses today. I'm still, that surgery, I'm one of the rare people, I think, most people I talk to are wearing some sort of prescription glasses. I don't have to wear anything today.
That's good.
Yeah, that is good. Congratulations. I'll tell you that I had it in, I think it was 97, 98.
Yeah.
And I went without glasses for, probably about 8 years, 10 years, and then I had to start wearing them again, so.
I'll also tell you, since I had the surgery, I can see through people's clothing. It's really amazing. I'm just telling you, what I'm seeing in the studio right now, Doc, is breathtaking. That's all I'm going to say.
I think it'd be better if I could choose a superpower, it'd be seeing through people's BS.
That would be exactly, yes. I can see through people. Yeah, they're BS. All right. Speaking of all of that, let's go to the latest on COVID, Doc. We're looking at hearing a lot of cases, even locally, where people are now being diagnosed with COVID. I know of one situation where they tested at home. It was negative. They did the quick PCR test. It was negative, but then did the full test. Maybe I've got the
acronyms.
The acronyms wrong, but when they did the full test, it came back the next day. It came back as positive, and of course now the First Lady, Jill Biden, has been diagnosed with COVID. What do you think?
Yeah, so, every year, so starting when COVID first, hit us in 2020, every year about this time, we have seen an uptick in the number of cases. And that's, the reason for it is not entirely clear, but it has not been related to a specific variant. Every variant has occurred, but it has occurred during this time of year. My theory behind it, and again, it's just a theory, is that while we are spending a fair amount of time outside, and so it's kind of natural social distancing, the reality is that we're also traveling to go on vacation places, whether it's going on an airplane somewhere or, eating out at restaurants and things like that. So we are spending time with people that we don't normally spend time with, and that's going to increase the transmission. So I think that that's probably it. And then as you layer on the fact that over time the variants have become more transmissible, then that adds to people testing more positive. Thankfully, they're not having significant symptoms because the variants that we're seeing really don't seem to cause as severe disease for the vast majority of people.
I know a young female, college-age female, who contracted COVID, and she was very sick. But, the type of sick you'd get if, like when you had the flu, high temperature and that sort of thing. But if you are of the, if you're having health issues, or if you're frail, or if you have cancer, that sort of thing, is it still as dangerous for those people as it was before?
So it is still dangerous, yes. As dangerous is a question mark, and the reason it's a question mark is because unlike in 2020 and 2021, where not everybody had been exposed to it and therefore had developed either natural immunity or had the vaccine, now the vast majority of the population, I would dare say, it's hard to believe there isn't somebody who doesn't have some kind of protective, who has not developed some kind of protective antibody for it.
Okay.
So, it is not as dangerous because of that, although I will say, to your point, if you're talking about the very elderly, if you're talking about people that are immunocompromised, whether it's because they have cancer or because they're on certain medications, if you're talking about people that have diabetes or heart disease or lung disease or obesity, those are people that are at higher risk. And even with some protection, they are still the vulnerable people that are more likely to get severe disease.
Okay, Manaski.
If you do test positive, Doc, what are the current recommendations as far as, quarantine, who you stay away from? Is it 5 days, 7 days, 10 days? What are we at right now?
So if you test positive, then you isolate. It is if you have been exposed to somebody that you quarantine. So if you test positive, or if you have symptoms and you test positive, then the current recommendations are that you should isolate for 5 days. Now the question is, do you isolate from 5 days from when you tested positive, or from when you first developed symptoms? And honestly, that is testing positive is really dependent on when you decided to get the test. So really, to me, it is when you first developed symptoms. The caveat there, though, is that you need to make sure that after those 5 days, you're no longer having what we call active symptoms. So active symptoms are if you're still having significant short of breath, if you're still having fevers and things like that, then those are active symptoms, and you should continue to isolate even beyond the 5 days. But if your symptoms are really waning and you're feeling, okay, then the current recommendations are 5 days.
All right. What about people where and I've heard, yes, I tested positive. I had no idea I really even had it. And we had a lot of that before, right? The original COVID. But I think you see more of it today, maybe not, where you're thinking maybe seasonal allergies. Turns out you're in the position where you're spreading COVID to people.
Right, exactly. And that's why, because there are people who have very mild symptoms, or sometimes they get tested for a different reason.
Right.
And they test positive, then they should isolate from the time that the test was done, as opposed to, obviously, when they're having symptoms, because they're not really having them.
Right. Okay. Okay, Doc. And then this week I'm going to be getting my shingles vaccine. And so it's a series of 2 shots over the course of a couple of months. And what do you expect, and how important is it to get that? I've just witnessed someone in my family going through shingles, and they had it very, very badly.
Yes, shingles is not something that you want to get. So the shingles vaccine can make you pretty tired and can give you some body aches and things like that. So you don't be surprised if that happens over the 2 or 3 days after you get the vaccine. In some cases, it makes people fairly tired as well. But in general, those side effects kind of fade away over about 48 or 72 hours.
No worries. I already feel that way. So every day, that's just a day in the life of me. Aches and pains and some fatigue. Nothing a little espresso and Tylenol can't take care of, I guess. Okay, but there's a big difference though. If you get it and you get a bad case of the shingles, it can be horrific in so many different ways, and it can linger on, which is no fun. So, okay, Doc, as we head into September. Here we go. It's the final stretch as we get ready for the move to the new hospital.
Yes, it is. We are 54 days away from moving into the hospital, and today is the day when we do our hard push to orient, between 2,500 and 3,000 employees, medical staff members, to the hospital over the course of this month, over the course of September. There's a whole bunch of people down there right now starting that orientation process. So it's a very exciting time,
All right, good stuff, Doc. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Please be safe.
Yep, have a great day.
Thanks, Doc. You too.
Dr. Kent Hall from MVHS.
So John in Marcy says, Bill got photorefractive keratectomy, eye procedure done.
Yes.
In 1999. John says, I know because I listened to the procedure in the Dove Laser Center lobby as I was waiting because I was next.
He was next. That's so cool.
He also said, Dr. Hall mentioned, and it is commonly referred to as LASIK surgery.
Yes.
He says, but I remember the late Dr. Palumbo from Dove preferred to call it the PRK procedure.
Yes, I do. And I got to say it was, and I'm sure John knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you've ever had it done, I'm sure maybe cataract surgery is very similar. But when they almost take like a squeegee and wipe it over your eye, and you're all numbed and your eye is propped open. So it's almost like you're looking through a window, and like as you go through the car wash, you're seeing the windows. It's the craziest thing. And then and my wife had it done as well. Her eyes were she was legally blind. Her eyesight was so bad. She wears a slight prescription today, but that's it. I mean, that surgery's been miraculous for us. And Dr. Palumbo was a great man.
Well, I'll tell you what, that might explain something we brought up earlier in the show. Your wife being legally blind. No wonder you made it 25 years.
That's it. And John, I got to say, John, thank you for not mentioning that you were waiting and you heard it all, that I was screaming and crying. Please, thank you for not mentioning
Is that right?
No, it wasn't that bad.
Oh,
I will tell you, I was
eyes?
I was a baby about it. But
is that right?
But you don't want to move because you're about to have surgery done. So it's not, in the middle of this, you start moving your eyes around. I can't imagine that's good.
No.
So you are stiff. You are looking straight ahead, just as they ask you to do.
Oof, I couldn't do
that. And it was, just think about it. Every morning, I had to put in my contacts. In 1999, that ended, and I've never had to do it again. Pretty cool.
That is cool.
All right, let's do, Davey, our free money question of the day. There's so much. The people who are studying what we're talking about here this morning to try to figure out what will the question be. There are so many topics, but you can only choose one. Davey, you're looking for caller number what this morning? The jackpot is at $200. What do you say?
Caller 7.
All right. Hear that nice mic on, Davey?
Yeah.
I mean, before the engineering staff came in and fixed it and pumped your mic up.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
I was here when they did it. So
very nice. Caller number what again?
7.
Caller 7.
All right, seventh caller right now at 315-736-0186. $200 on the line. Hobica's free money question of the day is next on WIBX.
Hi, this is Rob Hilton of Hilton Estate and Elder Law with important information for young families. If you have young children, you face unique challenges that must be addressed when considering your estate planning. Well, they, of course, have issues related to who will take care of and raise their children when they die. In addition, they have to have concerns about how the assets are maintained and managed after their death. They need to utilize trusts, and of course, they need to have life insurance to protect their children for future costs. Blended families face unique circumstances and legal issues that must be considered with their estate planning. How do we make sure that all of the children from both families receive some sort of inheritance? Oftentimes, we'll use very special techniques in our wills, or we'll use IRAs or life insurance to make sure they receive an inheritance. They are all very special challenges. To find out more about strategies to protect your loved ones through proper estate planning, contact us at Hilton Estate and Elder Law. Call for more information and to schedule an in-person meeting to answer your questions.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at hnhmedicalny.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
Hi, it's Jordan from Little Falls Lumber. Summer is a great time to freshen up the look of your home, and we have you covered. We stock a variety of name brand products from GAF shingles, LP vinyl siding, Sierra Pacific windows, to Moisture Shield composite decking, and premium grade pressure treated decking. We have options to fit any budget. Stop by one of our 3 convenient locations, Little Falls, Syracuse, and Schenectady, to see what we have in store, or visit us at littlefallslumber.com.
Go green, they say. But how? Start with your biggest investment, your home. Invest in the future with a new water furnace geothermal heating and cooling system by City Suburban. We at City Suburban have converted hundreds of customers to green energy to heat and cool their home. And we can do the same for you. Now is the best time with the New York State Clean Heat Energy Program, where you can save up to $12,000 while funds are available on your water furnace geothermal system, plus a 30% federal tax credit. They say go green. We say go Geo.
Hi, this is Chris from City Suburban. There's never been a better time than ever to go green. With the New York State Clean Heat Energy rebates and federal tax credit, you can save thousands on the installation, plus save for years to come on energy costs. And like always, every installation comes with City Suburban's POMG. That's peace of mind guaranteed. Call us today at 853-3899. That's 853-3899. Or visit us at citysuburban.com for more information.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password.
Or you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to lifelock.com.
Let's talk about the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. I was just talking about dealing with shingles, and you have the stages of shingles. You have the pain and the rash and the blisters and the terrible pain. But then some people have it linger on with nerve pain that just doesn't go away. It happens. It's far more prevalent than you might think. It's something you don't want. You could talk to Dr. Shemileski at the Falcon Clinic about the shingles vaccine, and also an osteopathic approach to treating shingles nerve pain. And I'm seeing it work firsthand. Dr. Shemileski using an osteopathic treatment because, if you've dealt with the pain of shingles, you can take all of the medicine you want, and you're just basically waiting for some day or some time for that pain to go away. And for others, it lingers for a long time. And Dr. Shemileski has a treatment. You can reach out today, a shingles treatment that I've seen work firsthand. Wow. Call them today at 315-507-4751, falconclinic.com. It's the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All righty. So coming up, we'll talk to Sheriff Mayfield. Schools back in session this week, and a number of people that end up getting either caught or not caught driving through a stopped school bus. When the school bus stops, you got to stop both ways, right? We know
the arm comes out and it says stop. You got to stop.
Even if it's a bus that doesn't have the arm, some of them don't have that. If they're flashing and they stop, you got to stop. You got to know to do that. God forbid how this could end very badly. We'll speak with Sheriff Mayfield on that in just a second. Christine is taking a shot at Hobica's free money question of the day. It's a $200 question here this morning. Hello, Christine. Good morning.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Well, let's make you really good today, okay?
That'd be great.
All right, here we go. Here is your question. You'll have 7 seconds to answer, and here it is. This late great rocker was also known for being in bands like Spooky Tooth, Wonder Wheel, And Ringo Starr and his all-star band. Who is he? Ready? Go.
Jimmy Buffett.
We're going to go with Mr. Margaritaville. I'm very sad today. I'm a big Jimmy Buffett fan, but Jimmy Buffett was not in Spooky Tooth or Wonder Wheel.
Thank you.
Somebody who also just recently passed away is Gary Wright. If you remember Gary Wright, this big song.
Try to take away my worries of today.
You remember that?
Yes, Dreamweaver.
Dreamweaver, yeah. Gary Wright is the answer. He was in those bands. He just died at the age of 80. All right, enough of that. All right, Christine, we will give you the Utica All-in-One Food and Fun card. We're getting into that season where you're going to start to see Comets preseason games and the season just around the corner. 72 Tavern and Grill will be reopening. Good at Aquavino in New Hartford. Babes, Taylor and the Cook in the Adirondack Bank Center. It's a $25 gift card. Stand by. We're going to mail it to you, and Davey's going to hook you up, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Christine.
Don't you love this song? This is like one of the greats.
Baby, to an astral plane.
I think, anyway.
Yeah.
It's also one of the big ones on Yacht Rock.
Yeah.
Sheriff Rob Mashel standing by on the line right now. Sheriff, good morning. Happy, even though it's not fall, but we're heading into that season, happy fall.
Yes, happy fall to you guys, too. It's actually summer weather, but we're in fall. So.
Wow, we're going to – that heat index today, they say, is going to be dangerous, going up into the mid-90s. And, yeah, we didn't get this weather in August, but we're getting it now here in September. Craziness.
But I guess we'll take it.
Yep, so I'm with you. I also saw a report on one of the news stations about cows and when it gets really, really hot. That cows they don't sweat. So they actually don't handle the heat as well as humans handle the heat.
That is true. I mean, you'll see when you're next to a cow, they breathe really hard. They pant heavily. They try to adjust, to the weather by doing that. And they try to find shady spots. Then they have to deal with the fly issue, so they'll all congregate together in a herd, and they actually use each other's tails to keep the flies off each other. So it's kind of neat to see how they work together on that.
And, of course, we bring this up for those that don't know, but Sheriff Rob Mashel is and never really, you weren't, but you are today. You have a full farm today. That is your side business, if you will.
Yeah, it's I call it, well, my wife, if she was staying next to me, she'd probably hit me, but I call it my therapy because from the day job. But the therapy's been challenging. It's like I said, rough summer with getting hay in, but hopefully we'll be done with it this week and lose a few pounds through sweating.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's talk about back to school. And there are several Oneida County school districts that have opted in on a new technology. Talk about this.
Yes, just before the school season winded down in May, we officially, because this was a project the county executive and I started back pre-COVID, and then, of course, that shut everything down. But in 2019, the state legislature passed an amendment to the traffic law which allowed municipalities to, they created a new section of the law which allowed municipalities to cite the registered owners of vehicles if they pass stop school buses. So, because traditionally, and the traditional law still exists. If we witness someone if we witness someone passing a stop school bus, or if someone else witnesses it and files a complaint with the police, if we can, figure out who was driving the car at the time, we would issue a traffic ticket under the traditional 1174 section for passing a stop school bus. It would go right to the driver. That carries, upon conviction, 5 points on your license and a pretty hefty fine. So that's the way we've always done it. But this new amendment in 2019 allows us to not have to worry about who's driving it. As long as we can capture the plate number, we can issue summons based on that. So lo and behold, that's where our camera program came in. The county put it out to bid in, I think, probably 2021. And then, like I said, in the midst of COVID, it took us a bit to get going. But Vera Mobility is the vendor. They got the bid. And the bid kind of works the opposite. It was which vendor could give the county the most percentage as far as revenue goes.
Yeah.
So they got the bid, and they installed, to date, we have about 200 cameras out there on various school district buses, and the cameras are only activated when the school bus red lights and stop arms come out. And if a vehicle passes the stop school bus, it captures a video of the license plate. And in turn, we get an email notification. I have one of my sworn members, one of our sworn deputies, who then witnesses the video. And once he verifies that this car did, in fact, pass the school bus, he signs off on it via the computer. And lo and behold, a summons gets mailed out to the registered owner of that vehicle. And it doesn't carry any points on your license because we're not citing the operator. We're citing the registered owner. It's a $250 civil penalty for the first offense. Of course, there's a mechanism to plead not guilty, but we've got a pretty good track record, the vendor does, and their experience with this, because we have it captured on video. So I'm not quite sure what the defense would be, but I'm sure there's a lawyer out there that could tell us what it would be. But again, so it's got a pretty good success rate as far as, and at the end of the day, the whole purpose here is to keep our children safe. The number I gave Jeff last week, it's a staggering number. On average, in the state of New York, the entire state, 50,000 school buses are passed daily in New York State. That's daily. That includes New York City, obviously, and all the population centers downstate. But 50,000 buses are passed each day. So it's a huge problem in New York. It's a huge problem everywhere. But this is a way for us to really capture, the actual violators. And I mentioned last time we compared ours to Broome County. We're almost identical in size. There are two counties. They had this program a year before we got it, and they issued over 5,000 summonses in one full school year. We ran a trial run through the summer when summer school was in session, and we brought in, I want to say in fines alone, probably $12,000 to $15,000 just in fines so far to date. So I can only imagine what's going to happen on Thursday when the buses are completely on the roads here throughout the county.
What is the? I have somebody a ton of comments here this morning. The one thing that screws me up with Stop School Bus is the Parkway in Utica. There's a big grass median between the streets, but according to the law, you're supposed to stop. Is that true?
That's not true. The law basically says if you are on the same street, because I believe, and I might be wrong, so I'd have to look at the name of the streets. I believe
one's
Pleasant.
Pleasant.
We have Parkway East, and the other way is Pleasant Street. Maybe
Yes.
those are two separate streets.
Yes.
See what I mean? If it was the same street with a grass in between, yes, you'd have to stop. If it's four-lane highway with a metal guardrail down the center, you still have to stop. So if you were on Route 12 northbound, not that a bus would stop there, but if it did, even though the bus could be 3 lanes away and there's a metal guardrail between you, because you're both on Route 12, you, by law, would have to stop for that bus.
I did not know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Think of like a Riscony Boulevard, for example, where you got 4 lanes, you got a center median with a metal bracket going down the middle. When that bus stops even if it's in the opposite direction, you're supposed to stop.
Yeah, that is correct.
Well, the good news is
one of the hot spots in the county is that area between like Yorkville and Utica, where there's some homes down there by I'm trying to think what's down there, like the Dollar Store or the fitness mill, that area in there.
Yeah.
If a school bus stops to pick up or let children off, all 4 lanes have to stop there.
Wow.
They have to stop.
I guess I didn't know that.
So how many you said this program debuted locally at the end of last school year, May, and you had a little bit of June. You guys were giving warnings at the time. Do you know about how many warnings you gave out? I mean, this is the numbers are staggering. Again, even locally.
There's cameras on. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're in 9 school districts, and altogether we have just over 200 cameras. There was a 35-day grace period where we gave warnings. Again, we put a press release out. I hit all the media places. People know this was there.
Yep.
It was a 35-day grace period, so people just got warnings to introduce the program. Again, we introduced it during summer school, so there were probably several dozen warnings given out, and then kicked in some fines. And like I said, through the tail end of summer school, we were getting, like I said, I believe we're in the $10,000 to $12,000 range with revenues and fines that have been collected to date so far. So in Broome County, I think Broome County brought in about $500,000 in their first full school year from fines. But again, this is not about the fines. This is about keeping. Obviously, the fine money is used for a couple major things here. One of them is to pay for the equipment because there's no startup cost. The districts don't have to front any money for the cameras. They don't have to front any money for installation. The vendor fronts it, and they recover their costs through the revenue, and then there's a percentage that goes to the county.
Do you are these mostly cases of these unique spots like the arterial or the Parkway or on Route 12, or are these just obvious situations where they're just passing a school bus?
Well, that's the interesting thing, and one thing we're kind of, I don't want to say excited, but I'm eager to see the data because we can tell you exactly what districts are having the problem.
Okay, all right.
We will be able to figure out where the hot spots are. We'll try to figure out why are these places hot spots. Is it a blind hill? Is it the type of roadway? Is it just people going too fast? And then we could do some speed enforcement. You know what I mean? So we'll be able to utilize this data for a lot to improve the safety of our children.
Okay.
The one district that we are not part of, and it's because of the population, is the city of Utica. In order for the city of Utica to be part of this program, the city would have to create their own local ordinance because the county legislature had to do this. And the way the law is set up in New York, they were able to do a local law here in Oneida County for every municipality with the exception of Utica because of its population size. They would have to do theirs separately.
All right.
Unfortunately, we don't have cameras in the Utica City School District buses, but we have them. Well, I can give you the list. We have them in New York Mills, New Hartford, Rome, Sequoia, Westmoreland, Whitesboro, Waterville, Holland Patton, and Adirondack.
Okay.
And I'm assuming once the success of this program gets out there, the other schools will jump on board. It's just something new, and some people are a little reluctant to try new things from time to time.
Question here via the app. This comes from Christine. If the camera captures the license plate, I'm assuming it's the front plate. What do you do with out-of-state cars with only a back plate? Florida is an example. They don't have front plates.
Good question. I don't know. Obviously, that's probably someone that's going to escape by us if we can't capture the plate.
Yeah.
But again, those are things we'll work out.
Okay.
But that's probably a glitch in the system. But hopefully, there's not a lot of out-of-state plates passing stop school buses here in New York. But I'm sure there's some.
Here's Joe Lode with a question. Joe, you're on in regards to school buses.
Good morning, Sheriff Bashaw. I think it's a great program. I do have a question because I've seen it a lot of times on Oriskany Boulevard over down near TP Brake and Muffler area, where a school bus is on one side and then traffic on the other side just keeps going past.
Yeah, so we got to really do something to emphasize this because, as you pointed out, Bill, most people do not know that.
Yeah, the law is you got to stop, right, Sheriff?
That is correct. If you are on the same road, it doesn't matter what's between you and the bus. If you're both on Oriskany Street, you have to stop for that stop school bus. That is a hot spot. Luckily, those buses drop off on the same side as the door. There's no children having to cross the boulevard, but you have to stop, and that is definitely a hot spot area for that. I've witnessed it myself. Yes.
Yeah. All right, Joe.
Yeah, I've seen them. Seen them pass there, and I think it's crazy. But people, I guess, just don't realize it. But I think a lot of times in the morning, people don't pay attention to the road.
Yeah. Well, that is
everyone's preoccupied, and they got to put their cell phones down, and they got to focus on driving.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Joe. Thanks, man.
Hey, have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Joe. You too. So I don't want to harp on this because there are other instances, but I do think this is the one that's the biggest problem. I think it's common for people to assume, look, there's a median, and there's no way that little kid is going to cross those two lanes, go over the median, and then cross two more lanes. So they think the kid's not even coming this way. I'm fine.
Well, you know where it also had. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I've seen the opposite happen, where people stop when they don't have to. Obviously I spent 20 years working in Whitesboro in the police department, but right in front of the Boulevard Diner on that street, that's Roosevelt Drive.
Yeah.
When buses will stop there to let children off on Roosevelt Drive, people on the boulevard think they have to stop. There's a very narrow grass median on the between the boulevard and Roosevelt Drive. I've seen people actually stopping on the boulevard for the bus on Roosevelt Drive. It's a different street. You don't have to stop there.
All right. Donna, what if there's a median like in front of Duncan? It's the same thing.
Doesn't matter.
Got to stop.
As long as it's so the key is in this
same road.
As long as it's the same road, the name of the road is the same. You have to stop. Wow. Okay.
So keep in mind, it's a $250 fine. It's a civil penalty. He said in Broome County the first year they did it, and I'd assume it's a $200 to $250 fine. $500,000 in revenue. Now take the revenue part out of it. How many violations to get up to $500,000 if you're going $250 at a time?
Yeah. All right.
Exactly. No, it's a lot.
All right.
So again, we just want people to be safe. The kids will be out. The buses will be on the streets here soon. In addition, kids will be walking in some districts. So just pay attention. We just want to have a great start to the school year and keep our children safe.
Sheriff, every year it's I was talking about how this is the 41st September I have done on radio.
Wow,
long time. Getting very old, Sheriff. This is getting bad. But I wanted to say that I've year after year throughout my entire career, whether it's been you, Sheriff Mashel, or other law enforcement coming out and saying, remember, kids are back in school, be careful, stop for the school bus. This is the first time you have some teeth into this. There's a measure to be able to ticket people, and I think it's probably the only way most people listen, so I think it's a good thing.
It's a great thing. And like I said, traditionally we'd actually have to have marked patrol cars, and I've done it myself throughout my career, follow school buses, and sometimes we'd be in unmarked cars following buses trying to catch people in hot spots.
Yeah.
Now the technology is going to do the work for us, and that's a good thing.
All right, Sheriff, have a wonderful day. Thank you. Have a great week.
Sounds great, guys. Take care.
Sheriff Rob Mashel, Oneida County Sheriff Rob Mashel. Got a break. We have news coming up straight ahead. I have a whole bunch to get to next hour that we haven't gotten to as of yet. We'll get there. Coming up, WIBX, Utica, Rome.
Rearming Russia. I'm Chris Foster. Fox News. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, according to U.S. and allied intelligence, plans to travel by train to Russia this month to discuss selling ammunition to Russia for its war with Ukraine. Florida House Republican Mike Waltz on Fox.
They can provide thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds that will allow Russia to stretch the war out in Ukraine.
He's on the House Armed Services, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations Committees. An impeachment trial in the Texas State Senate starts today for Attorney General Ken Paxton.
31 senators serve as jurors. It will take 21 of them to convict and remove him from office, though Paxton's wife, who is a senator, cannot vote. While Paxton is facing a number of legal issues, including a securities fraud indictment that's now 8 years old, this impeachment trial centers around allegations he helped a wealthy developer avoid a federal investigation and foreclosure on his properties. In exchange, this developer, Nate Paul, donated to Paxton's campaign, renovated part of his house, and helped him see his girlfriend, though Paxton is married. People in Paxton's office went to the FBI as whistleblowers over his alleged conduct.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. There's damage to the Great Wall of China, blamed on lazy construction workers.
Officers alleged 2 people were trying to create a shortcut for their construction work, and no ancient World Heritage site was going to get in their way. Police say the 38-year-old man and 55-year-old woman used an excavator to create a gap wide enough for the machine to pass through. They've been detained after causing what's described as irreversible damage to the safety of the cultural relics. The Great Wall of China was built and rebuilt on a continual basis from around 220 BC until the Ming Dynasty of the 1600s. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
The annual Burning Man event is wrapping up in Nevada 2 days late. Tens of thousands of people who've been stranded by heavy rain, making roads impassable, are now slowly making their way out. America's listening to Fox News.
David in Pennsylvania writes in to tell us about his experience with Relief Factor. I tried Relief Factor for hip pain and was surprised that it also helped relieve my shoulder and foot discomfort. After taking it for a month, I stopped. And sure enough, the pain returned. So I started taking Relief Factor again, and within a week, the pain was relieved. I'm now taking Relief Factor daily. Well, thank you, David. You know, I've heard your story before. People stopping and then starting again because it works. As you all know, I had trouble with aches and pains, and climbing steps was brutal. Your first step to living the life you love, free from aches and pains, could just be to order the 3-week Quick Start for the highly discounted price of $19.95. After trying Relief Factor, over 500,000 people have gone on to order more. Try it for yourself and see what all these people are talking about. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. That's 800-4RELIEF. Live your best life and feel the difference with Relief Factor.
A few clouds, 67 degrees. WIBX News Time is 8:03. This news update is brought to you by the Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida. Join us on September 20th at givemv.org, and let's show everybody that the Mohawk Valley gives. Well, a new state law going into effect this week. It's a recertification of weapons for legal gun owners. According to the law, anyone with a concealed carry permit that was issued prior to September 1st, 2020 is supposed to recertify their weapon. Per the new legislation, gun owners need to recertify their weapons every 3 years. It's part of a crackdown on gun violence statewide. Local sheriff's offices and police departments say the new law has been causing confusion among those legal gun owners. A heat advisory issued for much of central New York today. The National Weather Service says the heat index could reach 95 degrees between noon and 7 p.m. The highest heat index values are expected in urban valleys. The heat and humidity could make heat-related illnesses more likely to occur. School officials in Syracuse and Utica say they're still looking to hire as we count down the final days until the new school season begins. This comes despite numerous hiring events held with on-site offers being made throughout the summer. For more information on available teaching positions in the Utica City School District or the Syracuse City School District, visit their respective websites. One of the final concerts at the New York State Fair had to be canceled yesterday. They're calling it unforeseen circumstances. Hairball was expected to perform at the Suburban Park, but had to cancel. 3 other concerts still went off at the Chevy as the Chevy Music Series wound down. High Kings, Foghat, and Skid Row all performed yesterday on the final day of the New York State Fair. And checking local gas prices, according to AAA, the average cost for a gallon of regular fuel here in the Utica Rome market, it's $3.94 this morning. That's unchanged from last week. A year ago at this time, we were paying an average of $4.22. Statewide in New York, the average is $3.89. WIBX News Time coming up on 8:06. We have cloudy skies and 67 degrees. It's going to be a hot one today. Here's what we can expect.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, plenty of sunshine, hot and humid. The heat index will be in the mid-90s in the afternoon. Heat advisory till 7 o'clock, a high near 90. Tonight, mainly clear, muggy, mild, near 65. Tomorrow, more sunshine as the heat and humidity remain near 90. For more of your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
All right, from the IBEW 43 local sports desk, the Yankees look to make it 4 straight victories as they play tonight. The Yankees now just a game under 500. They open a series against the Detroit Tigers in the Bronx tonight with right-hander Garrett Cole on the mound. The Mets were off yesterday. They've won 3 of their last 4. They'll begin a 2-game series against the Washington Nationals tonight in D.C. Left-hander Jose Quintana is the scheduled starter for the Mets. He's scheduled to face Central New York native Patrick Corbin on the mound tonight for Washington. Some football news. One member of the Jets secondary is very confident about the team's defense. That's cornerback DJ Reed. New York is returning 8 starters from a unit that ranked number 4 in scoring and number 4 in yards allowed last season. Reed is also high on Gang Green's defense because he believes they have the best defensive coordinator in Jeff Albrich and a smart, seasoned group, he says, especially in that secondary. The NFL regular season kicks off on Thursday night. Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions do battle. We'll have coverage of the game for you right here on WIBX 950. Elsewhere in the sports world, Duke pulls off an upset against 9th-ranked Clemson. The Blue Devils won 28-7 last night, capping Week 1 action in the college football world.
I want to read to you a message that I sent to a friend yesterday afternoon, 5:32 p.m. yesterday. I think Clemson is going to lose to Duke tonight. You want to know the response? Doubtful, but possible. I guess anything's possible. It wasn't just a loss.
Yeah, they beat him down.
Yeah, wow.
28-7?
If you watch the game, if you were able to find a way through the ESPN debacle, Clemson gave that game away, especially in the second half.
A couple other things. Shohei Ohtani, his agent says he will need an elbow procedure. Of course, this is interesting because he is eyeing down free agency. They're exploring treatment options. He has a torn ulnar collateral ligament. Usually, when a pitcher does that, they have Tommy John surgery. That's one of the options Ohtani is considering. He, of course, won't pitch again this season for the Angels, but remains in the lineup, leading the league in home runs, RBIs. If he's not still in first, he's in second place in those categories. He's 29, batting .304, 44 dingers, and 95 RBIs. And Dodgers pitcher Julio Urias, arrested on a domestic violence charge. Los Angeles police say the 27-year-old left-hander was booked Sunday night, released on $50,000 bond. He was also arrested in May of 2019 on suspicion of domestic violence. The Dodgers saying in a statement they're aware of an incident and that Urias is not with the team on their current 6-game road trip.
Your chiropractor hooked us up with some great seats to watch the Mets, and we saw a legendary performance there, although we didn't see any action. But the Mets with a great walk-off.
Yeah, the Mets had a nice win. Ohtani was 0 for 4 at the plate.
Yeah.
But I mentioned this on the show last week.
Just to see the number of people to see him at that game, the place was filled with Asians. Asians everywhere.
And he got the loudest cheers.
He did. He did.
More than Pete Alonso or Lindor.
At Citi Field. It was also national, or it was not national. It was Dominican Day, or what was it? It was maybe it was Asian American Day, Japanese Day. I don't know what it was. Yeah, Davey, it was that day. And everywhere you turned, like the national anthem was sung by an Asian. The first pitch out was an Asian.
It was a guy sitting in a chair.
Right, he played a cello, which was a beautiful performance of the national anthem. I just thought it was incredible.
I'm double checking what day it was. I didn't realize it was a promotional day.
It was a promotional day. It was an Asian something or other promotional day. You know what? It was China Day, Asian Day. I don't know. It was Asian. Are you looking it up to see?
I'm trying to find
previous?
it. I can't hear it. I can't see it here.
You're going to find it, and you're going to be like, "Wow, he was right." Davey, what do you want to say?
Nothing.
They loved him there. We were on the 7 train because we were staying. We were already staying in New York as part of our vacation. And we took the train up, Asians everywhere. Everybody, my wife is like, I think these people are probably going to get off. We'll be able to sit because we stood it's a 40-minute ride from Manhattan to Citi Field, and at least a 40-minute ride. And I said, oh, no, these people are all going to Citi Field, and they were.
What do you mean these people?
These people on the train. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just kidding.
But it was a very, very big day for Asian Americans.
So you got there in time for the game then?
Yeah, we did.
I can tell you Friday night, that Friday night of that weekend, they played the Angels, and that was Japanese Heritage Night or Japanese American Night. Hang on. Here it is.
Yeah, I think it was all weekend long. They did it because of Ohtani. It was a huge thing.
That's interesting.
All right.
The Mets would like to get him in a blue and orange uniform, but I'll tell you what, this whole thing, he needs to have arm surgery now. He's only
I know.
He's the double-edged sword, right? He can do both things. He's dangerous on both ends, but now he can't pitch.
He brought in the people, let me tell you that.
But his agent,
huh?
His agent said that he is going to still be a two-way player.
Yeah, well, that's of course what his agent's going to say.
No
right?
question, Ohtani will be a two-way player. He said his agent.
It's unbelievable what he is able to accomplish.
He won't be for another year.
I want to, if you have a hot tub or a spa, I have an opportunity for you to get free chemicals. It's basically a four months of chemicals and supplies needed for your spa or hot tub, absolutely free from Tucker Backyard Pools and Spa, located now at 8086 Seneca Turnpike in Clinton. Technically, It's there along Seneca Turnpike, just down from Big Apple Music. Technically, that's Clinton over there. But they have added artesian spas made in the USA. They have a full lineup of spas. And all you have to do is download the WIBX 950 app. Download it, or if you currently have it, message us in just one word in the message, Tucker, Tucker, as in Tucker, Backyard Pools and Spas. At the end of the month, we'll draw for one person to win 4 months free chemicals and supplies needed for your hot tub and what I like to call the tub for back therapy.
Yeah, I'm sure it helps. Yeah.
It does help.
So
Yeah.
I was aware of this promotion, but just, again, because of the name Tucker, in the political world, in the news world, there's a rather large Tucker, right?
There is.
Formerly of Fox News. So we got a few messages last week
saying Tucker.
Kind of Tucker. And I'm like, what's going on?
What is it all about?
What's going on?
They are all entering in the contest for Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas.
And it's that simple.
All you have to do is message it in. If you don't have the app yet, download it. It's absolutely free. This app does everything but scratch your back. It is, you can message us, you can call us, you can listen to the show live, all of that stuff. Can I keep rolling for a little bit? Because I got a lot of stuff here.
Yes.
It's been almost a week and a half. Brank Construction, if you're looking for concrete work, driveways, sidewalks, it's Brank. Anything masonry, their concrete work is superb. It's Brank Construction. Stairs, cellarway entrances, basement floors, garage floors, retaining walls, sidewalks, driveways. If it is concrete, call them today. They'll get the job done right and right on time. Brank Construction. Here's their phone number, 315-894-3481.
So Lance and Lee chiming in
We
here
have a
this
ton
morning.
of comments. I'm going to try to get to them all here.
Lance and Lee, he says, good morning, Bill, and welcome back.
Thank you, Lance.
Traveling Utica last week, I have 2 observations. And actually, I'm going to throw in a third. Because it happened, news broke, I think when Andrew and I were on the air Friday, that they went to 4 lanes downtown. They finally repainted.
I heard that. Yeah.
So that happened. Okay, so this is from Lance. Good morning, Bill. Welcome back. Traveling Utica last week, I have 2 observations. 1, there are less political signs in Utica than Rome. And I concur. He says, for being number 2, for being a candidate, the Republicans, everybody's messaging me Tucker now. For being a candidate.
Tucker. Tucker. And you'll qualify to win. No purchase necessary.
For being a candidate the Republicans are trying to push out of the race, Bob Cardillo has as many signs up in yards as the other 2 candidates. And I said that to Bob Cardillo when he was in, that I saw, again, not a ton of signs in Utica, but you see just as many Bob Cardillo signs that I've seen, that I've noticed, as you do the other 2 candidates. I think that's an accurate observation.
I'm never a big fan of the political sign thing. While so-and-so has more political signs than somebody else, I don't think it's a great indicator, but it does indicate whether or not a community is excited about a campaign, right? Is excited about an election.
That's fair.
And I do wonder, though, about Utica. There does not seem to be that buzz. Listen, the general is not until November 7th. Early voting will begin on October 28th. So we have a long ways to go. There's still
2 months.
Practically 2 months before early voting starts. So, we'll see if the excitement builds in the city of Utica. Further?
No, not on that.
Okay.
No.
Other comments I have here, let's see. Might be an idea with the deaths to talk about colorectal exams, mammograms, cancer testing. There's plenty of tests to get done. It's extremely important. We've seen some people leaving us. We mentioned Gary Wright earlier, who was of Dreamweaver fame in the 70s. Steve Harwell from the band Smash Mouth. Hey, now you're a rock star. Get your game on.
Go play.
Yeah. He has passed away. His was not cancer, although I do believe he had cancer in 2013. He ultimately died from liver failure, which was caused by alcoholism. But the sad one, and I struggled with it all weekend long, I was just a huge fan of Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, like a cult-like following.
It's weird. The music was it had obviously a Caribbean flair, but it was country, it was rock. He was a storyteller. Just loved Jimmy Buffett. And in fact, when we were in the city after going to the Mets game, that was Sunday. On Monday night, we were at Margaritaville, the resort, and there's one in Syracuse too at the mall. But this is a huge hotel resort, pools, bars. It's just the coolest place, right in the heart of the busy Times Square in New York City. But we were there.
I've been to the one in Las Vegas. You were speculating that you thought it was possible that he would come back because it wasn't talked about.
He performed in July, on July 1st in Rhode Island, and showed up in a surprise performance. It was pretty awesome. And we saw a lot of that, but ultimately it was Merkel cell carcinoma, which was a rare, very aggressive form of skin cancer. And he passed away at the age of 76. Here's a little on Jimmy Buffett.
Wasting away again in Margaritaville. Come Monday, it'll be alright. Son of a son, son of a son, son of a son of a sailor. It's those changes in latitudes, changes in attitudes. Nothing remains quite the same. Cheeseburger in paradise. I don't know where I'm gonna go when the volcano blows. You got fence to the left, fence to the right, and you're the only bait in town. I can't help but wonder, what would Jimmy Buffett do? Funny you should ask, Alan. I'd say it's 5 o'clock somewhere. We all know just how lucky we are. Down at the La-di-da.
Yeah, pretty wild. Yeah, I'm a huge, huge Jimmy Buffett fan.
You said it kind of had that Caribbean flair, and I will say...
Well, a lot of steel drum. When he played in concert, there was a lot of steel drum. Yeah.
And synonymous with, like, I wouldn't have described it that way, but you're right. It's like beach music. It always reminds, so many of the songs are about drinking.
Yeah.
It's always, you always get this mental picture when you hear his songs. It's summertime, sun shining, and you got a cocktail in your hand. Something exotic looking, right?
Every year, I would be in my backyard in the pool for 25 years.
Yeah.
Playing his Labor Day concert. I mean, it's just a tradition for me. I mean, when I heard about it over the weekend, I immediately lost the shaker, the salt shaker, and began nibbling on sponge cake. And that was my tribute. Steve Harwell gone as well of Smash Mouth, and then we mentioned Gary Wright also passing away. Wow. One more. Kenny Chesney paid tribute to Jimmy Buffett over the weekend.
Watch the men who roll you switch from sails to steam. In your belly you hold the treasure you have ever seen. Most of them dream. Most of them dream.
Oh, there you go. Stefan Rubitsky, all upset over ESPN. Stefan, good morning.
Well, good morning, Bill, and good morning, Jeff and Davey.
Are you still at the
Morning,
beach?
bud.
Are you still at the beach?
Well, I'm leaving. I left the beach yesterday, and I'm heading home today.
Yeah, he was at Ocean City.
Yeah, I see
Out
this
on
here.
sent us pictures of him out there on the beach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jack and Rome sent me a picture of Stefan standing there in front of the ocean.
very nice. It's beautiful to be by the ocean, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, nice. All right, this ESPN thing has you going. There are, you could subscribe to some services. Otherwise, it's pretty difficult to be able to get ESPN right now with this battle they have going with Spectrum.
Yeah, I have Spectrum, and they took ESPN off air, and ESPN has Sunday Night Baseball, which had the Yankees and the Astros this past Sunday, and college football, and I wasn't sure if the Bills and Jets next week we're going to be on Monday Night Football, ESPN. But I heard it's going to be on ABC.
Yeah, it'll be on ABC.
But that's a good thing. But I miss Sports Center and things like that.
Yeah. Well, it's a, they immediately come out. Spectrum will immediately come to you and say, hey, we've taken $10 off your bill because these 4 channels are not. Oh, they don't do that?
No. I was like, what?
Yeah, they don't do any of that. So it is what it is. If you talk to Spectrum, if you see their take on it, it's Disney's fault. If you talk to Disney, it's Spectrum's fault. It all has a lot to do with what's going on with the writer's strike and, fees and who pays what. It's just a big mess. We'll see what happens. But I think that Nexstar has been off DirecTV for quite some time, Davey, hasn't it?
Yes, Bill.
Yeah, it's been several months.
Yep.
So this stuff can last for a while. All right. Anything else, Stephen?
And Pete Alonso has over 40 home runs this year and broke a Mets record with 340 home run seasons.
Yeah. I mean, listen. He spent part of the season on the injured list too, so it's been pretty impressive. All right. Thanks, man. Safe travels on your way home, okay?
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Thanks so much. I played this story earlier, but I love it. I mean, I hate it. It's a terrible story when you think about it. People driving drunk. An alleged drunk driver called the police. He was claiming that people were driving on the wrong side of the road, and he needed the police out there immediately to get on the scene. Turns out the reason they were coming the wrong way is because he was on the wrong side of the road. They have a 911 call. He made the phone call. And the interaction he had with the police officer when he was ultimately pulled over. Here we go.
I'm on Highway 77 going north, and there is somebody that is on the wrong side of the road. He had his brights on, man. He almost ran me off the road.
Yeah, do you know why I stopped you?
Yeah, because I was on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah. Were you the one that called in?
Yep.
You were?
Yeah, because I thought somebody was on the wrong side of the road, bro.
But it turned out it was you.
Turns out he's on the wrong side of the road and the wrong side of logic. That'll get you every time.
I will say, though, that interaction, the audio that you just played.
He doesn't sound like he's a mean drunk. No.
He doesn't sound bombed.
No.
And there is a playful conversation between he and the member of law enforcement.
Well, he was pretty bombed, unfortunately, and was arrested for DWI. Michigan police officer pulled over a reckless driver and ended up saving an 18-month-old baby who was choking. Here's Officer Brendan Frazier talking about the rescue and his body cam footage of the incident.
Speed limit's 45, well over 45. I'd had to estimate probably 75, 80 miles an hour.
Let me see! Let me get me! No, please don't take him! I'm not gonna take him!
Put him on my forearm and administered a few back blows to him. Had some saliva and kind of regurgitate out onto my arm. Getting them calmed down is just as important as trying to get aid to the baby.
He's breathing. Look at him. He's breathing, okay? You got it? He's okay. They're not blue anymore.
Just rely on your training and what you went over and over again.
Yeah. Terrible. Terrible to listen to, right? It gives you chills. A Delta flight set to go from Atlanta to Barcelona had to turn around for an emergency landing. Do you know what happened?
No.
Apparently, a passenger had a bad moment of indigestion so badly that they had to go to the bathroom, so badly that this passenger went to the bathroom all the way to the bathroom. Number 2. So badly that the plane had to turn around because the odor was so horrific. Here is the pilot making the announcement. This is real. This is a Delta flight. Because let me tell you something. It's a long way to Barcelona from Atlanta. Can you imagine what that would have been like on the plane? They turned the plane around.
And they had to get all on a new plane? Or did they just get them off and clean it?
I would imagine they probably had to get everybody off and they cleaned it. I don't know. Here is the pilot giving the message back to air control that we have no choice, but we have to turn around.
Hey
a biohazard issue. We've had a passenger who had diarrhea all the way through the airplane, so they want us to come back to Atlanta.
Calling it a biohazard. That's quite a hazard. That's what, listen, what are you going to do, right? And last night, if you were able to watch it, it was on ESPN. Big upset as Clemson, number 9, was upset by Duke. Final score 28-7. Here's the call. I don't think Duke had ever beaten a top 25 opponent on opening weekend. That's the first time it ever happened. And today is Telephone Tuesday, which is always the day after Labor Day. It's known for more phone calls than usual. And you think about why would that be? Some of it is kind of obvious. There's a clear spike in telephone calls to businesses and organizations. And there are a multitude of reasons. The high number of calls usually flood in partly due to unmanned telephones during the long weekend. Many schools also open after Labor Day weekend, which causes phone activity. And research shows that organized people attempt to tackle their to-do lists on Tuesday after Labor Day. And so inbound calls rise up by 50%.
Organized people do that?
People who are organized.
Well, it's funny because
unorganized people couldn't care. Could care less? Couldn't care less.
So, but I'm one of those unorganized people. I mean, and since late May, I've been kicking everything to after Labor Day.
That's right.
Today's the day for me to catch up on a lot of things.
You have no choice. All right, does Ozempic, we know it helps you lose weight. Does it cause you to become depressed? Interesting. We'll speak with the doctor on that one coming up next, 8:29 at WIBX.
Life happens, and at Mohawk Valley FCU, we are here to help you through life's ups and downs. It's not always easy. Life isn't perfect. That's why Mohawk Valley FCU goes above and beyond for their members with higher interest accounts, superior service, easy loan approvals, and so much more. With locations on River Road in Marcy, in the state office building in Utica, and with mobile banking, you'll receive the best service no matter where you are. Mohawk Valley FCU now welcomes all Town of New Hartford employees. Member-focused, member-driven. Visit MohawkValleyFCU.org.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hey, Fred F. Collis & Sons Heating, Cooling, and Insulation has been in business for more than 85 years. Nobody does work like Collis. And whether that means servicing you, like we had a service call, as a matter of fact, when we came back, and they were right on the scene, fixed the issue. We were back up and running. You know, air conditioning, when things start to heat up, you want to make sure you have things in tip-top shape. If there's ever been a time that you want to make sure your air conditioning is working, for us, it's probably going to be this next week, right, where we have temperatures going up into the 90s, something we haven't had all summer long. And Collis has an amazing program working with the state and federal government. There are a lot of incentives and perks out there, in some cases reimbursements and grants that can help you install something more energy efficient. And Collis is there to help. Call them today or visit their website. It's Fred F. Collis & Sons Heating, Cooling, and Insulation in Yorkville, Rome, and now in Syracuse. Nobody does it better than Collis.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, a lot of people on Ozempic. And it's been very successful for people trying to lose weight. 20, 30 pounds, more in some cases. I did meet somebody the other day that's not losing weight, and he's on Ozempic. But the one thing that you wonder is how safe is all of this to lose weight? And there is a story out there that it might actually cause some sort of depression.
I was going to say, if the guy was taking the Ozempic and he wasn't losing weight.
That would be depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Integrative medicine physician, Dr. Jason West, on the line right now. Doc, good morning. Does Ozempic cause depression?
Well, I think I would answer that, and I get asked this all the time. I mean, especially recently, it just seems like it's taken off in about the last year as far as patient questions coming in saying, hey, I want to take this magic shot that's going to magically make me lose, 5 to 7 pounds a month, and please tell me what you think about it. And my answer is when I look at the medical literature and I look at what they're saying, is it does affect the basically insulin receptors. One of the things that it does is it slows down gastric emptying in your stomach, so you feel full longer, so that you have a tendency to eat less, and it also does some things on the nervous system to basically feel that you're satisfied or satiated. The other thing, though, is because it affects the nervous system, and the nervous system needs blood sugar, is that it can give you some mood fluctuations. It can give you some, they say it's rare, but suicidal ideations, which doesn't sound very fun to go through. But when you get the blood sugar too low, the nervous system can freak out.
So, well, variations in mood is one thing. Thoughts of suicide or severe clinical depression is another thing. Where do you fall on it?
Well, I think it's so important to recognize that there's no magic pill or there's no magic shot for your metabolism, whether you're overweight, whether you're obese. There's a complex array of factors that come into place. There's genetics, there's the time that you eat, there's what you eat, there's what you're using it for. Is it a comfort food? Some people eat to live, and some people live to eat. And when you get in that pathway of, again, taking something that is going to regulate your blood sugar levels, some people's nervous system it just really can't handle that. And that's why, from a clinical approach, that the goal is we want people to have a healthy lifestyle, that they want to move. We want them to eat healthy and alive foods. And ideally, we want them on the least amount of prescriptions, the least amount of vitamins and minerals and essential fatty acids to be healthy. And so you really have to take everybody one case and one person at a time and try and put them in balance.
This is kind of like the argument of giving out clean needles for opioid abuse, or what, maybe not opioid, but heroin abuse, or giving out condoms. So you'll always have the argument where someone will say, well, if you give out condoms, it's going to promote kids having sex. Or if you give out clean needles, it's going to promote heroin abuse. And this is very similar. If you give them a pill that they don't have to do healthy things and they can lose weight, then they're not going to do healthy things. But you can look at it the reverse way. I guess it's kind of how you look at it. How do you look at that?
Well, I think it's fascinating when you look at the literature and it says this taken along with healthy lifestyle choices and exercise can, give you X outcome. And that's one of the reasons why our office decided we created a website that people can go to for free called, Best Medical Options, that people can put their information in, and it helps them to understand what their options are, whether they're across the street or across the country. And your analogy is pretty accurate. Like the goal, really, I think what's happening is you just want to make sure that people understand it's not just a quick thing where you do this and you're automatically going to lose weight. It's not that simple.
I have somebody asking a question, not about Ozempic. Can I throw a couple others at you on vaccinations?
Yeah, go ahead.
Somebody asking, what vaccinations should people over 45, 55, 65, 75 receive during the months of September and October? such as flu, RSV, COVID, shingles. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are that you really need to work with your provider and work with your doctor on, which ones are appropriate. I have a tendency to be uber cautious about, the COVID-19 vaccine. I've seen some unwanted side effects and some problems with that. A lot of the other vaccines that, historically are with the flu, and a lot of times people are coming in and saying, Doc, what should I take? And I'm like, well, that's kind of a more of an individual decision. And what I say is, what's the best thing to do for sickness is to make sure that you have a healthy immune system. So we want you to get off, sugar, which decreases your immune system, or at least take the sugar the least amount as possible, and then healthy and alive foods, good sleep, vitamin A, vitamin C, zinc, good relationships. I mean, everything that you can do to put your body in balance helps protect you from bacteria, parasites, viruses, the whole works.
I'm getting my, this week I think I'm getting my shingles vaccine. Just because I've seen what people have gone through and how the nerve damage can be really just horrific. Your thoughts on the shingles vaccine?
Well, shingles is, again, a reoccurring virus. Usually we get it, exposed to it when we're little, and then it comes back. It's kind of the plague of the, don't take this wrong, I try not to use the O word in practice, but a little bit of the older generation. And I hope we're still friends after I say that.
Well, because, after that, like in New York, it's now required that kids get the chickenpox vaccine. So our children will never be going through what we're going through right now.
Yes, and it's miserable. That shingles is absolutely, like, I've had people come in literally saying this is the worst thing that I've ever experienced. And then hopefully, it's in rare cases people get what's called post-herpetic neuralgia, which means the infection goes away, but then the nerves still hurt. And we really want to rehabilitate the nerves and look at different things like, lysine is a good consideration. Essential fatty acids are a good consideration. Vitamin C is literally probably my favorite thing to recommend for people in the office because it just helps with so many different things. But if you can keep on top and keep your immune system healthy, you don't want to run into the shingles or all the problems after shingles.
It's funny you say that because I can remember even when I was a kid, relatives and older people saying to me, you don't want shingles. I'll tell you, it's bad. Everybody says, like, there's like COVID now, they're saying like you can get it and you might not know the effects of it. Yeah, that doesn't happen with something. So many people have told me it's like the worst thing other than cancer that you can get. Because it's painful.
I have two memories, Doc, of shingles. Number one is my father going through it and then having that nerve pain afterwards, weeks and weeks afterwards. The second, it was about 95 degrees in the middle of July. We were putting shingles on a roof. I'm going to tell you something, worst experience of my life. I wish we hired a contractor. And I'll leave it at that. So,
yeah, that's a pretty funny story.
You have a wonderful day, Dr. Jason West. Thank you for the time.
All right.
All right, thank you. He was not amused. Oh, by the way.
No, not the last comment.
No.
Everything went well. You had to ruin it, Bill.
I'm telling you, it was awful, though. Have you ever done a roof?
For a short time, I did. They had me bringing up it's like a bale of hay, but it's a bale of shingles.
You carry the shingles up onto the roof.
It was like 85 degrees.
Luckily,
I was going up sideways.
I was using a compressor and an air gun so I wasn't having to hammer everything in.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you that was
not fun.
Not a fun job at all. Okay, got a break. We'll wrap up this Tuesday morning. I got a bunch more to squeeze in here. Do we have time, Davey? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's your show.
All right. Thank you.
I got some good comments here, and we hope to provide some answers after the break.
It's 8:42 at WIBX.
Looking to do something fun for the whole family? Stop in at the 12th Annual St. George Mediterranean Festival, September 9th and 10th. There will be a delicious array of Mediterranean food, dessert, and drinks. An assortment of vendors, crafts, live music, dancing, and more. The 12th Annual St. George Mediterranean Festival, September 9th and 10th at the St. George Orthodox Church at 350 Higbee Road in New Hartford. A portion of the proceeds will go to support the earthquake victims in the Middle East.
Summertime is the best time to build memories in Herkimer County, New York's Experience County. From the Mohawk Valley to the Adirondack Mountains, Herkimer County offers charming communities, festive events, fun adventures, and great family activities. Erie Canal history? Check. Farm markets and unique shops? Check. Outdoor recreation and New York's #1 water theme park? Check. See all the possibilities online at visitherkimercounty.com. Herkimer County. I love New York.
There are more identity threats than you realize. Even if you monitor your credit, only a little personal info needs to leak out, like your social security number or password,
for you to become a victim.
LifeLock alerts you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to lifelock.com.
At Mike Carl's, we've cleaned out our warehouses to make room for new arrivals. You save big. 50% off high-end mattresses, plus same-day delivery. Mike Carl's in the backside of the New Hartford Shopping Center.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car really needs a wash.
The $20 McGuire's bundle includes Gold Class Car Wash for a showroom shine.
Get in zone.
And what about my tires?
Just spray the included Hot Shine tire coating and you're all set.
Get in zone.
The inside is not great.
No problem. The quick interior detailer in the bundle can help with that too.
Get in zone. AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, River Hills Properties is the fastest growing real estate company in Central New York. Nobody sells homes like River Hills. You know, nobody knew the River Hills name 15 years ago. They had just started out, but offering extra services that other real estate agencies don't provide. Today, they are the #1 locally owned and operated independent real estate agency in all of Central New York. And when it comes to the chains, they're #2. Boy, that is all about the hard work each and every listing agent puts into helping people sell their homes. It benefits the seller. It benefits the buyer as well. So if you're looking to sell your property and you want a real estate agent, a listing agent who's really going to go to work for you, call River Hills today and speak with some, interview them like you would interviewing a contractor or anybody else that might work for you. Do that with every real estate agency. You want to find the right agent, the right person to help you sell your home. And we believe that River Hills is the answer. Call 315-896-1009. Nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
Life happens, and at Mohawk Valley FCU, we are here to help you through life's ups and downs. It's not always easy. Life isn't perfect. That's why Mohawk Valley FCU goes above and beyond for their members. With higher interest accounts, superior service, easy loan approvals, and so much more. With locations on River Road in Marcy, in the State Office Building in Utica, and with mobile banking, you'll receive the best service no matter where you are. Mohawk Valley FCU now welcomes all Town of New Hartford employees. Member-focused, member-driven. Visit MohawkValleyFCU.org.
When we get together with others, we can do more. On September 20th, nonprofit organizations will come together to ask for your support through Mohawk Valley Gives, the community's 24-hour giving day. But don't wait. Give now or anytime this month. Either way, every dollar counts. And you'll show everybody that Mohawk Valley Gives. Powered by the Community Foundation, MV Gives is proudly sponsored by Staffworks and M&T Bank and brought to you by Town Square Media.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Online at CordellCordell.com, 518-554-0000, 100 Great Oaks Boulevard, Suite 110, Albany, New York, 12203.
Hey, it's the Move to Mazda sales event going on right now at Steve Ponte Mazda. Have you seen the new Now, the CX-9 is the vehicle that I have, which I love, although my lease is coming up. You know, it's been 3 years since I got into that vehicle. Have you seen the new CX-90? Interesting.
You gonna upgrade?
I don't know. I don't know what to do. I got to talk to Ricky Z about this. What do I do?
It's the least you could do.
It's the least you could do. Right now, Steve Ponte Mazda has their Move to Mazda sales event going on. Now, you see a lot more, many more Mazdas on the road. There's a reason, because it's a hot vehicle right now. 2.9% APR financing up to 36 months on new 2023 Mazda CX-30s, 5s, and 50s. Enjoy 0% APR financing up to 36 months on the new 2023 Mazda CX-9. It's the Move to Mazda sales event from the dealership that's number one nationally in customer satisfaction. Steve Ponte Mazda. You want to add something?
I was going to say, what was their national rank again?
Number one.
Dang.
Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Let me do one more. Chuck Sedella, Daylight Donuts, the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program. Chuck says, all right, you helped us hire a baker. Now we need full and part-time counter help. Desperately in need of full and part-time counter help. I don't know about desperately, but I added that adjective in there, for immediacy purposes. But if you know of someone who's looking for a full or part-time job, they're looking for counter help, they will train. I guess you could trade, too. I'll do it for so much per hour plus a donut every day. They will train you at Daylight Donuts. Just see Chuck inside the store in the village of New Hartford, Daylight Donuts in New Hartford.
I'll take my pay in sprinkles, please.
And portions of the program brought to you by Adirondack Bank. And why you utilize Adirondack Bank, from their eco-checking to their 14 locations in the area. Mobile banking app. Adirondack Bank is just a click, a call, or a short drive away. Adirondack Bank, member FDIC.
You want to go political signs first, bus cameras, or Jimmy Buffett?
In any order, go ahead.
Okay, yard signs. An area man says regarding yard signs, some candidates observed Utica's sign ordinance and took their signs down after the primary. Usually signs for the November election go up after Labor Day. A number of Cardillo signs remained in place after the primary, while most of the other two candidates' signs were removed for the summer. I didn't know that they put them out, took them back, and put them back out again. I wasn't aware of that.
I didn't know you had to take them down for the summer. All right. What else do you have?
Lance says Captain John's in Sylvan Beach plays a Jimmy Buffett loop all day and all night. It gets a little bit old.
Well,
he
sounds like my wife, because although she tolerated my Jimmy Buffett obsession this weekend, she's like, well, I feel bad he's died, but yeah,
it's one of those things.
This weekend they went to all Jimmy Buffett.
I could see it getting old when it's on a constant loop, but like if you go there, like if you live, I don't know, let's just say you're right. You live in the Utica area. You go there for that flavor.
Even in
right,
I have to say this.
Yeah,
we were at Margaritaville Monday night, a week ago yesterday, and in their resort in New York City, and at the poolside bar, and I think I might have heard maybe one or two Jimmy songs. Everything else was current music. So even they weren't playing it all the time.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Rocky says, the best lyric ever. Some people claim that there's a woman to blame, but I know it's my own damn fault. And Cindy in Utica says, in response to the school bus cameras, who gets the revenue that is being generated by those fines? So I reached out to the sheriff again for a clarification. He says,
I believe it comes into the county, right?
Yes.
To support the program that they're...
I think it's a 50-50 split with the vendor. So he says, pay for the purchase and installation of the equipment and software, profit for the vendor, and the remainder goes to Oneida County as a source of revenue.
Donna says on the issue of school buses, yes, the kids get off going west near the tracks. This is over by Dunkin' Donuts on Oriskany Boulevard, or Oriskany Street, that would be. The cars going east don't stop. The few that do are honked at, sworn at, etc. They should put a police officer or a sheriff's patrol over there.
Well, they got the cameras now, so they'll be issuing tickets. They're talking about Utica or Whitesboro?
This is Utica, so the cameras are not there.
Yeah, it's not in Utica. That was my guess on where the most violations would be. But again, I think there's an education. There's an education component here with that specific example.
Jeff says, is it too soon to say Jimmy is eating cheeseburgers in paradise? I don't think so. In fact, I kind of heard somebody talk about that recently. They were saying that. Mike, I don't really want to lose weight. I don't need to lose weight, but I really want to take Jardiance,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm screwing up the line. I don't really need to lose weight, but I really want to take Jardiance so I can learn how to do that dance.
Is that the commercial?
Yeah. If you've seen the commercial, you know what we're talking about. Ross says, just wondering, first of all, pickleball. This was a comment from earlier last month. Fact is, it's the fastest growing sport in North America, U.S. and Canada, over the last 4 years. We were talking about pickleball a few weeks back. The game you see the pros play on TV does not represent the style typically utilized by the thousands of non-professional average players. The pros play an extremely strategic style with the tapping of the ball barely over the net until the one player makes a slight mistake, and then the high-speed, exciting firestorm, bang, bang, bang gets underway.
Yeah.
That's on pickleball.
So, and I think I had said at the time that I find it hard. That doesn't really strike me as a really great sport to watch. And I would imagine, though, the pros on television are a bit different, just like they are on the PGA and what you might see at Valley View, right?
Right. They're doing pickleball at Valley View?
Well, no, I'm saying like on the PGA Tour,
you're right.
It's at the highest caliber, and those players do things that the average player can't do.
I saw a lot of tennis. I was watching the Pagula daughter, the daughter of the owners of the Buffalo Bills,
and then Coco.
She got knocked out, and then Coco, what's her last name?
Coco Gauff.
She's really good. She may win this thing.
Well, she's really hot right now. She's won the last two tournaments before to lead up to the U.S. Open.
Yeah, she's big.
And Pagula got beat by Madison Keys, who was the 19th ranked player in tennis. Don't make fun of me that I watch tennis.
I watch tennis.
No.
I try to figure out what all these terms mean. That's why I watch. It's like, okay, it's 4-0. When do we win? When do they win the match?
Oh, yeah.
So it gets
point system
a little confusing
on Sunday
if you don't watch it a lot.
On Sunday, Coco Gauff faced the former number one player, Caroline Wozniacki, who was off for 3 years, and she made it into the top round of 16.
I was watching a lot of that.
Yeah, so Coco Gauff had to yell at her coaches because Brad Gilbert, who's her coach, is also a commentator for ESPN, was talking over the mic, and she could actually hear it at Arthur Ashe Stadium.
There was also the player that she played who was is this the woman you're talking about? She's the older woman?
Yeah, Caroline Wozniacki.
Yes. And the players booed her. They booed her because she was stalling. This was last week, right?
Yeah. And she asked them to turn the lights on in the middle of the day at Arthur Ashe Stadium because she said she was having trouble seeing.
It got kind of crazy and stuff, but she was crying at the end. I felt really bad. They treated her, New York fans can be very tough. Anyway,
I mean, if you're doing stuff like that.
Coco and Pagula are actually in the pairs. They're still playing.
They're the number 3 ranked women's double team in right now.
So, Andrew, I know Andrew says 2 out of 3 sets. Yes, I know that. But then you were getting these, how does an overtime and how do they score overtime? It's, I learned by watching tennis over this last vacation. I know more about hockey than tennis.
That is.
And I don't know. Hilarious. I'm still trying to figure out what icing is. And it shows you how little I know about tennis.
Bill, I don't think they use the term overtime in the game of tennis.
They did have overtime, though.
Oh, is that what it's called?
I think. What do they call it?
They do extra sets.
Maybe they don't call it overtime, but it was.
Maybe they do. I don't think they do.
It was overtime.
So did you also see?
I think they call it sudden death. I'm pretty sure.
The Coco girl had to tell the ref, what do they call it, the ref or the judge, that while they were on a break or something, or while they were changing sides, she grabbed some like a plate of fruit and had a couple pieces of fruit.
Yes.
But the other girl sat down.
And
she
so
said
she's
it's
like,
not a break.
She's
she
not
can't sit
supposed
down.
to be sitting down.
Yeah.
And, meanwhile, a woman's like 37 years old. She's like, come on, give me a break. So she stood up. But
That's
when
the rules.
But the fans, but she was okay with that. And she got penalized for it. But it was the way the fans booed her and were yelling and screaming at her that made her cry at the end of the match. In the press conference, she was crying.
I
Andrew
didn't see
says
that.
it's not called overtime, it's tiebreaker.
Yeah,
is what it's called.
tiebreaker set.
All right,
Right.
Andrew, you now lead me to love. All right? Good for you.
Andrew and I used to play some tennis. I'd actually like to get out there and kick his butt again. He's not a bad tennis player. He's got a real nice serve. It hooks. It curves. It does it kind of like they do on television.
Okay. I think we're done, right? We've got everything taken care of?
Yes, we have.
Well, it's good to be back.
It's good to have you back.
Kind of good to be back. I mean, I didn't feel that way this morning when the alarm went off.
Yeah, same here.
But,
I was laying down last night like,
here we are.
Here we go.
I was thinking this morning, I'm like, God, my father was retired by this time in his life. What in the hell am I thinking? Well, here we are. Okay, we're back here tomorrow morning. Enjoy your day. Remember, if you'd like to sign up to win and this is absolutely free, there's no purchase necessary, chemicals and all the supplies you need to run your hot tub, 4 months free from Tucker Backyard Pools and Spa. Download our app, and if you already have it, once you download it, message us Tucker, Tucker, as often as you please, and you'll be entered to win the contest. It's supplies, $200 in supplies from Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas and WIBX. Want me to keep going? Because I can.
Is the board off?
Let me look down here.
One off?
One is off for some reason. All right, we're back here tomorrow. Enjoy your day.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at HNHMedicalNY.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
Scheduled Tuesday is a Medal of Honor ceremony for Captain Larry Taylor, and it looks like that event will still happen. The First Lady is staying at the family's house in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. The 72-year-old tested positive for the virus in August of last year and made a full recovery. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
August recess is over and the Senate returns to session this afternoon. It's unclear whether Republican leader Mitch McConnell will speak. Some senators want more transparency about his health. McConnell froze up again during a speaking engagement last week. The leader of North Korea is reportedly planning to take a train to Russia to talk to Russian President Vladimir Putin about supplying ammunition for his war with Ukraine.
That would be in exchange for technology to advance satellites and nuclear-powered submarines in North Korea. Now, Kim Jong-un will reportedly also be seeking food for his people who have gone hungry under his leadership. And the United States first warned of North Korea aiding Russia's war in Ukraine a year ago.
That's Fox's Alexandria Hoff. The search for convicted murderer Daniello Cavalcante expands in southeastern Pennsylvania. Lieutenant Colonel George Biven with the state police says he was spotted in a botanical garden.
Early this morning, we were notified by security at Longwood Gardens that they had trail camera photos taken on their property, which appear to be Cavalcante. This area is just south of the perimeter.
Cavalcante